close are we?
Welcome everybody in. We have another good battle here tonight. Coach Gaines alongside Nathan Griotti here, and we got a 2 versus 5 in single A football here in late September. So a lot of stuff to talk about. We're going to recap a little bit of last game. We're going to introduce you to some guys you're going to hear about this game. Both teams coming in 4-0. They had a good battle last year at 24-16. The Wolves took down the Golden Bears here, and so a lot to talk about here. And first, I think we'll start out by talking a little bit about what happened last week with Holy Innocents.
Right, and let me say this, Nathan. It's good to be back with you. Last week, defeated the #1 team in the state. Great ball game. Came down to overtime. We made the extra point. They missed theirs, and that's the difference in winning and losing. And Coach Winters has got his troops really focused on everything that's going on. And you know, they're going to go to the bread and butter. That's Michael Cox. He's going to carry the rock 140 or 50 times, and. You know, they do the option well, and of course Wesleyan comes in with a very good offensive attack. They've got a very good sophisticated passing game, and but I feel good with our defensive backs back there with Tyquan Alexander, Jack Felton, and Donovan Johnson. So that's good.
And look, it comes down to the triple option. We all kind of know what the offense is going to give you. It comes down to the triple option here for the Golden Bears. You know, Michael Cox, we talked about it, 86 carries on the season, 40 of them came last week. So half of his carries essentially came against Eagles Landing in that big victory. Had well over 200 yards rushing, I think 4 or 5 touchdowns on the night. So, you know, that offense has been clicking on all cylinders really the entire season. And I think the backbone is what can Holy Innocents do on defense. I think that's going to be the key to the game here tonight.
Well, you think about that last drive in overtime for us. Eagles Landing Christian goes down and scores. Then we get the ball. We go down. We have a loss on our first 2 plays. We have 3rd and 12, and Matt Davis pulls it, gets around the end, does a little spin move at the 1-yard line, and we got 1st and goal. And then, of course, you give it to the bell cow, Michael Cox, and he takes it in from there at the 1. And then the extra point was just icing on the cake. It was a great victory for the coaches, the kids, the community, and the program.
And Matt Davis last week kind of opened up a little bit in the second half, running the football. Again, only 1 pass attempt last week, only 3 pass attempts in the game last year. He had the 2 interceptions, so 3 pass attempts, 2 interceptions last year, you know, for Matt Davis. But he really kind of opened up the offense last week, and it kind of helped the offense. That's the bread and butter of this offense. Hunter Hawk on defense, of course, he's the Ray Lewis. He's the Ray Lewis of this defense. He's going to be everywhere in that backfield, but it's really going to come down to the cornerbacks. Donovan Johnson out there on the edges, really going to have to take down J.C. French, the young sophomore quarterback for the Wesleyan Wolves, and he can throw it all over the park.
I feel good about our defense. We're strong up the middle. We got Hall O'Neill in there anchoring that defensive line. We got Big Hunter Hawk, right there in the middle. And then we got Jack Felton. So you're strong up the middle. So it's going to come down to what we can do on the edges and back in that defensive backfield, and I feel good about it. Like you said, Matt Davis, only 1 pass last week. But let me tell you what, he ran so many times when we thought that the fullback had the ball, and all of a sudden Matt Davis is skirting around the end, gets 10, 15 yards, and that's what really gets the defense. They get deflated on that, and it turns out to be good for us.
And it's one of the things where I'm going to have to learn to be a little bit more patient here, I believe, with Matt Davis and Michael Cox with that triple option. I like to jump the gun because I think I know who has the ball, and I don't even know who has the ball. So you can imagine what the defense is thinking as well.
Well, you got Coach Winter now bringing his troops out. And, you know, if we want to talk about last year's stats, too, real quick, it was basically a carbon copy of what happened last week. Matt Davis went 1 for 3 for 12 yards. Michael Cox, 18 carries for 139 yards. And Landon Cardian, 1 reception for 12 yards. So I'm looking for tonight to kind of be the same thing. We want to control that clock, take their offense off the field, run it down their throats, basically.
And the second half defense last week really stepped up, really stepped up and kind of shut down the Eagles Landing passing attack. They came up with some big 4th down stops. But I think this week you're going to have to see him come up a little more. And I'm going to go ahead and throw it out there. If I had to bet a little bit, I'm going to say Michael Cox is going to get more than 18 carries tonight if they can help it.
Yes, you're quite right. And, that's the thing, the confidence level shifted. We went down, we were at 28-14 down at halftime. We come out, we put 3 straight scores on the board, and once we held them that first time, we knew we could hold them from then on out. And that's what it was. We got them off their game plan, and turned out to be good for us.
And according to Georgia High School Football Daily, this is number 2 versus number 5 right now in the state in 1A private football. So this is about as good as it gets. And we're going to see, this is really offense versus defense here. You're going to see high-powered passing attack for the Wolves on offense. How many times is Holy Innocents going to be able to get that offense off the football field and then take 7, 8, 9 minutes off the clock on those 15 and 20 play drives out of that triple option? I think those are the keys.
Well, with the game against Eagles Landing Christian, we had a packed house. That was our motto all week, was pack the house. Tonight is Holy Innocent Spirit Night, and we're just going to be looking for the same thing, for the offense to stay on that field and keep their offense off. And next week, we got a big game too. Every game is a big game now. You got a target on your back when you're number 2 in the state and you've knocked off number 1. Next week, we've got the first ever home varsity football game at Holy Innocents, and that's at 4:30 next Friday. And that is going to be a great sight, seeing our varsity come out of the locker room and walk onto their home turf, and they go against the Mount Vernon Presbyterian Mustangs. So we look forward. Let's take this game first and get to that one. But that's what's going on next week, fans. And call all the relatives, call aunts, uncles, cousins, nephews, nieces, grandma and grandpa, and get them there. Let's support these Bears.
And it's going to be, you want to talk about some more, the Holy Innocents rivalry tour could continue. They lost to Mount Vernon last year 32-29. So the rivalry tour could continue here if you are Holy Innocents and Coach Winter. You seem to be on a little bit of a roll, riding that momentum. Last week, you either have 2 ways to go, right? You can kind of keep going up and keep inching up towards the bell at the top, or this is one of those games where you go on the road, a top 5 team. Neither one of these teams were preseason ranked, right? Neither one of them were in the rankings preseason, and now they're number 2 and number 5, both with big wins. You talk about Wesleyan last week. They beat Prince Avenue Christian, who was then number 3. So we beat number 1, they beat number 3, and now you're talking about these two facing off. So back-to-back weeks with gigantic games.
Huge.
How do you respond if you're Coach Winter and the Golden Bears?
Well, think about last year too. We had a 6-6 record. We lost 3 close games, so that team easily could have been 8-2 or 9-1. Now we're winning those close games, and that's the confidence Coach Winter's instilled in his squad. And again, that weightlifting program, everybody's bought into it. Everybody's bought into the option, and here we stand. So it's all going to come down to, like you said, our offense keeping their offense off the field.
And look, we talked a lot about Michael Cox and Matt Davis, but let's go to the other side just a little bit and talk about some of the key guys for the Wolves, because they got a couple of big fellas, especially in the middle of that line. Tanner Bivens is a two-way lineman, Division I prospect, already getting some looks. He's going to play both. He'll be inside of the interior of that offensive line and the defensive line. So big, able, athletic body there.
Yep.
J.C. French, the young sophomore quarterback. Listen, you match J.C. French up with Griffin Caldwell, the running back, 2 sophomores. This team is this good with 2 sophomores. They're only going to be even better here the next couple years as those guys get older.
Exactly. And you got Micah Smith, too, wide receiver and defensive back. And I know Tanner Bivens is a state wrestler, too. So, again, these 3-sport athletes are where it's at. It makes them stronger, bigger, faster, all that. So we got captains coming out now.
And one more interesting stat as the captains, like you said, Coach Gaines, are walking out to the middle of the field, about to have that coin toss, and we're just about ready here to start this one between Wesleyan and the Golden Bears from Holy Innocents. But Wesleyan has won 5 straight in the series against the Golden Bears. So again, that redemption tour coming back, they got a little more to play than just winning one game this year. They got a whole crew of things coming up and kind of pent up energy. We'll see how they can take it out. They've been able to kind of hone that in a little bit and release it when need be. So 5 straight, trying to break a 5 straight losing streak to the Wesleyan Wolves.
Well, you think about one of the great athletes that's come out of Wesleyan. That's David Andrews, and he plays for the New England Patriots. Super Bowl winner, played at University of Georgia. And, when I was a varsity coach, we went up against him, and he was a competitor. So for the Bears, we got Ronnie Williams, captain, Matt Davis, Big Hunter Hawk, and, of course, Michael Cox, okay? And for the Wolves, you got
You got Micah Smith, who Coach Gaines talked about, 6 foot 175 wide receiver. Josh Morris, the wide receiver and linebacker in there. Trent Bartlett will be the senior wide receiver and defensive back as well. And I believe it might be, is it Tanner Bivens, the 55? And it's Chris O'Sullivan, who's going to be a two-way player on that offensive and defensive line as well, the captains for the Wesleyan Wolves. And once again, 24-16. It was really 24-0 at halftime last year, and in the second half, Holy Innocents just went on a tear, scored 16 straight, but just couldn't quite complete that comeback.
Ran out of time. We ran out of time, and I don't think that's going to be the case tonight. This is going to be a barn burner. Both teams want it. They know that this is their ticket to the top spot, and so we'll let the chips fall where they may.
And you know, a couple more things to talk about. We had a couple of wide receivers and Christian Paget and my goodness, his name's slipping my mind. Landon Cardian, thank you. Took some hard hits last week as well, and they're all healthy. They're all ready to go here tonight as well. So a full slate of wide receivers and defensive backs as well. But a lot to happen. A lot to happen here tonight. And again, a battle of 4-0 teams, number 3 and number 5, and in the power rankings, two top 10 teams in the power rankings as well. So a lot to talk about. How is Holy Innocents going to respond to the big win last week in overtime, 42-41, and what a thriller it was, and one of the best moments you can imagine in high school football. People, just everybody rushing the field. You're on such a high, and it's natural to come down a little bit, and that's kind of, I even said it right after the game. You want to say, hold on, pump the brakes a little bit, focus, and let's see what we got next week, because we got a tough competitor. Wesleyan Wolves 5 straight, and they have a good team.
I saw them practice yesterday for their walkthrough. They were very focused, so you're right. It's all about the emotional letdown when you have probably the biggest win in program history against the state's #1 ranked team, won the last 9 out of 10 region championships, and puts kids in the college ranks in NFL every single year. I know their wide receiver last week, #1, Justin Robinson, has signed with Georgia, and we kept him in check. And that's what we're going to have to do this. We're going to have to keep these guys in check.
And we could see a lot of these teams later on down the season in the playoffs as well, if things keep going, as well as Holy Innocents takes the field, followed by the homestanding Wesleyan Wolves here on the Golden Bear Network. As Coach Gaines, Nathan Grotti. Coach, we got just a couple of minutes before this one starts, and I'm excited. That's the best kind of way to describe it. You want back-to-back games, 2 4-0 teams, top 10, top 5 now in the state. This is what you wanted, and especially late September, early October for football.
This is actually the North Fulton game of the week. It was in the Sandy Springs neighbor, and it's got top billing, and we're just a little bit from kickoff. So it looks like Peter Wanke is going to bring it out and tee it up. Actually, we have check that. We got Peter Wanke. He'll bring it out and tee it up for the Bears.
Came on a little late there, but it is Peter Wanke. And we're going to see the young J.C. French led offense here by the Wolves, and we'll see how the Golden Bears respond. And it's Cooper Blauser back deep, and alongside Micah Smith, who I would imagine we're going to be calling his name a pretty decent amount here tonight on the outside, a speedster for the Wolves.
And if that name Cooper Blauser doesn't ring a bell, that's Jeff Blauser's son, former Atlanta Brave great. And, he excelled as a freshman last year, and he's a sophomore, and he is leading that team up and down the field on the passing attack. So here we go. Whistle's ready.
And we're just about underway here in the game of the week, right here on the Golden Bear Network. Wanke lines it up from the 40, and the kick is a short kick, and it'll be fielded at the 25-yard line by the upback. He's going to make a couple of guys miss, try to bounce outside on the left side. He's going to get taken down by a couple of different defenders, and that was Griffin Caldwell, the running back, who was up playing the upback spot in that receiving team defense, and Ronnie Williams in on the tackle for the Golden Bears. So here we go.
Here they go. No huddle offense. They're gonna try to tire us out just as we do to them. Looks like you got a trips right to start the game here. Gun formation.
35-yard line is where the Wolves will start. Young J.C. French in the backfield again, trips to the right side, as Coach Gaines said, 4 wide receivers. So we will see how the Golden Bears respond. French takes the shotgun snap, stands in the pocket. He's going to launch it deep down the left side, has his receiver, just overthrows him by about 2 yards. And that was Cooper Blauser, the aforementioned Blauser, being picked up by Donovan Johnson. That's going to be a matchup all night. French has a good arm on him. Nice and simple throw, but it just looks so smooth coming out of his arm right down the sideline for about 30 yards. Just a hair.
He didn't get enough air under it, but you can see what their intention is tonight. They're going to try to throw the ball all over the field, and here we go again. Trips right, 4 wide. Let's see what happens here.
J.C. French in the shotgun formation. This time he's going to hand it off to the running back, who gets taken down. Good help tackle for the Golden Bears. A couple went high and a couple went low.
Hall O'Neal.
And that was Hall O'Neal in on the tackle for the Golden Bears. And it was the running back is Griffin Caldwell in the backfield with French. And again, we're going to have 4 wide receivers set. This time they split the line, 2 to the left, 2 to the right. And again, Micah Smith near the bottom of your screen.
Yep, you got a doubles formation. You got 3rd and 6.
And he throws it out wide, but it's going to be a little too high. Incomplete there for Micah Smith. And Cardian on the coverage out there.
And that's big. That's big, Nathan. A turnover on downs the first drive. Now the Bears have got confidence that they know they can stop them.
And I think that's key. And everybody says, man, it's the first game as Jack Felton's back deep for the Golden Bears. It's the first drive of the game, yeah, but you don't want them throwing all over the field and going right down, especially at home. And so big first possession on defense for the Golden Bears. And it looks like the Wolves will be in punt formation. High, kind of a shorter kick, and they're just going to let that one go. And they're going to down it at around the 25-yard line, and as J.D. Chipman will be the punter for the Wolves.
So and here we go.
Looks like down at the 26-yard line, so that's where the Golden Bears will take over. And our first glimpse tonight at Matt Davis, the senior-led team, opposing the sophomore-led team on the other side of the offense here. But the Golden Bears, we'll see how they start out. I'm going to go ahead and guess you give it to your workhorse. Tyquan Alexander had some big runs last week as well. He took a couple of big hits from that Eagles Landing defense as well. Hurt his ankle a little bit, but he is back, and he's in the backfield with Michael Cox.
You got a flex tight end to the right.
Looks like Leighton Dixon will be that third man in the backfield. Davis under center for the Bears, and he's in motion. They'll give it to Cox right up the middle, and he will get a couple. And it looks like Cardo Gottlich will be the man in there on the tackle. The middle linebacker comes in and hits Cox low, gets him down after about a gain of 1, maybe 2 yards on first down.
What a luxury it is to have a guy like Matt Davis at quarterback. So smart, so intelligent, knows when to pull it on that option on the read and get around the end. Get you 7, 8 yards. 3rd and 2 is their goal every time.
And second leading rusher on the team is Matt Davis as well, coming out of that backfield. Only 1 fumble on the season out of all his carries as well. So just something to watch out for. Again, it opened up the offense a little bit last week against Eagles Landing, gave him another dynamic in the backfield.
You got double tights this time.
Nobody out wide. Again, they're going to give it to Cox. Has some space, breaks a couple of tackles, breaks some more tackles. They can't bring him down, and they finally bring him down just by the toes, past the 45 up to around the 47-yard line. Big run by Michael Cox. And it looked like Tanner Bibbins came and got Cox from behind.
Big pickup right there, too.
And he just sheds tacklers. If you don't hit him anywhere near the lower part of his legs, he's just going to keep going. It's just inevitable. So you got to hit him low, and you really got to hit him with multiple defenders to be able to kind of get him to the ground.
He's just so strong. You can't bring him down with one guy. It's not going to happen. They got about 11 guys within 5 yards of the ball here.
And again, Davis under center. Dixon in motion. They're going to give it to Cox again, and this time they get him with 3 different defenders here. The Wolves, they finally get some pressure in the backfield, led by Jackson Turner from that defensive line spot for the Wolves. So a gain of, I don't think he got anything. No. Right back to the line of scrimmage, so it'll be second down and long here for the Golden Bears. Seems like a prime opportunity to just bounce it outside here with Matt Davis, or give it to Tyquan, see if he can break one and get some, make it third and manageable. And again, no rush. We talk about this every week. Golden Bears not in a rush at all to hike the football. Leave that offense off the field. They don't want to have them any extra possessions as possible. So let's waste as much time as we can.
Tick tock, tick tock.
And what a different dynamic it is for each offense. It's about as different as you can possibly get. They give it to Cox, lowers that shoulder, but he gets stopped again by about 3 or 4 different guys on the linebackers, and that was once again Cardo Gottlich from that middle linebacker spot, putting his helmet down and hitting Cox after a gain of about 2, maybe 3 yards. So now the Golden Bears in that territory where it's third and kind of a long, not exactly where they want to be, but man, did they convert last week on a lot of those 3rd down and 8, 3rd down and 9 when the Eagles Landing defense stopped them early.
Well, like you said, they're going to put it in Michael Cox's hands, and they found something on the short side of the field. You got wide side away from us here, over towards our sidelines. Let's see if they go to it.
Micah Smith guarding.
Tried to draw him off sides.
Guarding that wide side, and they're going to give it to Cox again. He's going to get about 2 more. That's still going to leave 4th down and around 4 yards for the Golden Bears, right around midfield.
And it looks like Marshall Nichols is coming on to punt. I thought Coach Winter might go for that. He's the riverboat gambler. He'll go for it on 4th and short, but right now is a good time to pin him deep, especially with the weapon you got in Marshall Nichols, and make them work their way out of there.
And I think if it was about 5 yards closer towards the end zone, I think Coach Winter might have pulled the trigger on that 4th down. But so close to midfield, I don't know if you want to give such a potent offense such a short field, but I thought he was going to go for it too, as Nichols' punt is high, arcing punt, and that's going to go well into the end zone, out of the back of the end zone. So the Wolves will start at the 20.
That's not what they wanted to do. They wanted to hit it inside the 10 or over to the sideline and pin them deep, but now they're bringing it out to the 20. It's going to be 1st and 10 Wolves.
So quite a different start to this game for both teams rather than last week, as we had touchdown, 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 touchdown last week. But this game we start out with back-to-back punts, and if it gets into a punting battle, I'm gonna put my money on Marshall Nichols. He's pretty good.
And you know this probably is not going to be a high-scoring affair. I mean, with our offense, we like to control it and the clock, and they like to throw about every down. So they got jet motion here, jet sweep.
Man in motion left side, they give it to him, and he's hit hard out there on the corner. Looked like Donovan Johnson in on the tackle for the Golden Bears, and I believe it was Wyatt Hodges, the junior wide receiver, coming in motion. And Moreland Bell and Donovan Johnson both in on the tackle for the Golden Bears on the far side of the field. So 2nd down and 7, and already under 7 minutes to go.
Yes.
Unbelievable on this first quarter clock. Holy Innocents took about 6 plays, and they seemed to waste so much time on the first quarter clock as J.C. French drops back and nowhere to go, chased out of the pocket, has a wide receiver, throws it towards the sideline, and it looks like it's caught.
It is. Looks like it's going to be maybe a yard short of the 1st down.
And really bought some time, and Andrew Van Ree comes up with he sat down right below the 1st down marker. Donovan Johnson makes sure he is down, so it'll be 3rd down and 1 for the Wolves.
Big play early in the game, and you don't look for these in the game early, but this is a big one.
And this is where you kind of bunch. If you're the defense, you gotta play up close. But you never know with J.C. French. He loves to throw it over the top to those big wide receivers. So we'll see what he has as Smith comes in motion. They're just going to jet sweep it again. Same exact play, different receiver, and first down of the contest for the Wolves. And that was once again Micah Smith coming in motion, and he was hit by Jack Felton on the far side of the field. So 1st down Wesleyan. Their first down of the game.
It looks like they want to try to get the ball on the edges on us, and that's what Eagles Landing Christian tried to do, and we stopped them. So it's going to come down. It's going to come down to a will of powers here.
Key word is containment. If you're the defense, you've got to, just like last week, you have to contain some of those playmakers. QB roll out to the right side. J.C. French going to throw it deep. It's just as you expected, and great defensive play in the secondary by Landon Cardian, I believe, and that was Micah Smith. And I think another 6 inches on that football.
We got a flag down on the play.
And it could be holding. Usually when those quarterback rollouts happen, a lot of the times the linemen have to pull to protect that quarterback. And there it is, the holding call on Wesleyan.
Yep, he's going to grab a jersey, and that's going to back him up. So that works in our favor right there. So now it's going to be 1st and 20 for the Wolves.
And what a great play it was down here. Landon Cardigan didn't even turn around. A lot of the times that could be considered pass interference, but he got his hands on the football. He didn't interfere.
No.
And so it was a great defensive play by Cardigan to break up that pass because it hit Micah Smith right in stride, but a better defensive play by Cardigan.
Well, you know, there's no face guarding on the high school level. College and pro especially, but none. He was right there. He got the hand up at the last second. Great play by Landon.
So 1st down and 20. Wolves at their own 25-yard line. J.C. French, shotgun formation, takes the snap. He'll give it to the running back, has some space, breaks a couple of tackles. He gets out past the 40, out past the 45, finally brought down all the way in Holy Innocents territory. He's eventually brought down by Hunter Hawk, but not before a big gain of about 31 or 32 yards.
You know, that zone read offense can give him trouble.
And Griffin Caldwell, again, the running back. So 1st and 20 was negated very quickly on a big run by Caldwell.
It's almost an option out of the gun. He can give it or he can pull it, and he just gave it again. And that was big William Willis on the tackle.
And that's what Holy Innocents needs to kind of break up that running game. And again, Griffin Caldwell will get the carry. His helmet comes off, so he'll have to exit the game. And backup running back is going to come in for him, and that's J.D. Chipman. So Caldwell will exit, Chipman will enter. So a good 1st down defensive play by the Golden Bears. That's what they got. They got to find a way to get some pressure in the backfield, especially they got to hurry some J.C. French throws. And more importantly, Donovan Johnson down here on the bottom of your screen. Yep. Out kind of on an island, as they used to call it, Revis Island in the NFL, out on an island down here kind of by himself.
2nd and 9. And you know that big play is coming again, that big pass.
And they're going to give it to Caldwell again, or not Caldwell, Chipman, and he will get hit by a couple of different defenders. Ronnie Williams on the tackle coming in from that defensive back spot, and Sam Aiken, first time we've called Aiken's name. He's had a couple of big moments here so far the first 4 games of the season.
3rd down.
So another critical 3rd down. Holy Innocents could possibly get off the football field here with another critical 3rd down stop. And this time the Wolves not in a real rush. Again, no huddle, but not in a rush. Looks like J.C. French getting the calls from the sideline here. And they're going to go trips to the left side.
Yep.
And they're going to put Micah Smith in slot. So an interesting formation. He's lined up outside a couple of times, but the key wide receivers lining up in the slot closest to the left tackle. J.C. French will take the snap and an all-out blitz and a beautiful screen, and the running back drops it. I don't think he had a place to go anyway. A couple of Holy Innocents defenders coming in. That was to J.D. Chipman, Hunter Hawk in there as well.
Like you said, he wasn't going to go anywhere with big Hunter Hawk on his trail.
He doesn't miss a whole lot of tackles, open field tackles.
No.
Very often.
Now you got 4th and 7. You got Jack Felton back deep, and you've got J.D. Chipman in punt formation. So the Bears held.
And another key stop for the Golden Bears on a big 3rd down. And what a difference a week makes. Such a much slower pace, lower scoring game. And Griffin McInnes was in there in there with Hunter Hawk to stop that screen pass as well. End over end kick. And that is going to take a Holy Innocents bounce and stop inside the 15 down to around the 12-yard line.
No.
And Josh Morris there to down it for the Wolves.
You know, they've both been playing somewhat conservative here. They're waiting for one maybe to make a mistake and take over field position. So the Bears got it 1st and 10 at their 12. And let's see what they can come away with here.
Man, what a difference a week makes. I know I've said it a couple of times here, but such a different type of game. And you want to talk about adjustments. You've got to be able to adjust, and especially in high school football. And both teams are having to adjust from last week's performance to this week's. Shotgun formation. Davis fakes it to Cox, and he's going to pitch it out right side. He gets hit in the backfield all the way back out of the 10-yard line. Good pursuit.
Ball carried by Ronnie Williams.
And I believe it was Chipman again? Looks like Trent Bartlett and Chipman on the tackle. Both of them on the tackle there for the Wolves. on the pitch out, so that'll cause some issues as well. Drops a yard on first down. It'll be 2nd down and 11.
And that's what the Bears don't want. They've got a good inside game, but they don't want that outside game taken away. And that's got to be, you got to get a good block, stock block on the wide receiver, by the wide receiver on the cornerback.
Man in motion once again. Davis is going to keep it this time. He gets swallowed up at the original line of scrimmage, so he gets about a yard on 2nd down. They'll bring it up to 3rd down and 10. J.D. Chipman in on the tackle once again for the Wolves, as well as Tanner Bivens. So again, 3rd down and 10, another critical spot really for both teams. I know you have Marshall Nichols. You try not to rely on him too much here to swap the field positioning battle, but you might have to tonight. It seems like one of those games. If you're Holy Innocents, you got to pick up a couple of first downs early, at least to give your defense some more of a break. And it'll be 3rd down and 10 yards from the 12-yard line. Davis this time is going to keep it, makes a couple of guys miss. He's going to be about 2 yards short of the first down. Good 8-yard run there from Matt Davis. And he's going to get hit by Trent Bartlett.
And, you know, Marshall Nichols, he's the great equalizer at that punter position. You got 4th and 2. He has not come on yet, and they're thinking about it. It looks like they're going for it.
And from the 20-yard line, and this is about as big as you're going to get of a play in the first quarter with 1 minute and 45 seconds left on the first quarter clock. Holy Innocents going for it on their own 20-yard line. 4th down and 2, man in motion. Davis under center, and a timeout's going to be called by the Golden Bears. Just tried to draw them off. They've had some success in the last couple of weeks getting some offsides penalties. I know Eagles Landing last week jumped off sides a couple of different times. Couldn't quite get him on that one.
As a defensive lineman, you're taught to watch the ball out of the corner of your eye, but you never know what's going through their minds, and all of a sudden they jump. We get a free first down. So that's a good ploy by Coach Winter. And now I'm pretty sure he's going to bring his punt squad out and, you know, have Marshall Nichols pin him if he can.
If you have a punter that's sitting at 15 or 20 yards in the air, I think you go for it with the success that your offense is having. But when you have Marshall Nichols, who averages over 40 yards a punt, I think you got to come out and change the field. Here. Try to pin him inside the 30, even inside the 20, depending on how big of a boot he can get off. So last week it was just about offense. Let's go for it. Let's take some risks. I think this week is a little more of a conservative game plan from both sides.
Well, we knew this game was going to be one to really concentrate on because of the way Wesleyan always gives us fits on the defensive side and the offensive side. So got Marshall Nichols back deep, punting, and you've got, looks like, what a beautiful punt.
Marshall Nichols end over end. It's going to get inside the 30 at around the 25-yard line is where he will pick it up, and he's going to get hit around the 30. And that was Cooper Blauser back to receive that punt. A great punt coverage from Holy Innocents, only allowing about a 3-yard return by Blauser. So big airtime punt there from Marshall Nichols, and that's what he can do. Listen, he punted from the 5-yard line, and the Golden Bears pin the Wolves around the 30 or 31-yard line.
The great equalizer. So here we go. No huddle, trips right. They're coming out. They're ready to play.
So 4 straight punts to start the game for both offenses, 2 apiece. And the Wolves will take over their 3rd possession here at their own 30-yard line. And they're going to get it to the running back. He gets hit almost right away, maybe about a yard. And once again, Griffin Caldwell on the carry. And Moreland Bell on the hit. 2nd or 3rd time we've mentioned Moreland Bell early on in this first quarter. So we're under a minute. Crazy, under a minute here in the first quarter. There's only been 2 possessions for each team. Just it's kind of crazy to think about. But again, J.C. French will be 2nd down and 9 inside their own 35-yard line around the 32. Caldwell's the deep back. French stares down his receiver to the right side, and it's picked off by Landon Cardian. He jumped that route, and listen, I said it during the play. He stared down the wide receiver the entire play. Took the snap and just stared towards the sideline. Cardian read it and broke on it.
I mean, it wasn't even close. He broke on it so well. And that's what we were looking for. We were looking for that one mistake, that one turnover, and now the Bears have got it. 1st and 10 at the 32-yard line of the Wolves.
And if you're the Golden Bears, man, what a big momentum shift that can be.
You
got to pick up a couple of first downs. I think you got to get some kind of points here.
You got to capitalize off that turnover. That's going to be the story of the night, capitalizing off those turnovers.
So Golden Bears will take over here as Matt Davis under center. He has his best friends there in the backfield as they hit Cox. They hit Cox in the backfield. He's hit by number 52, Josh Aspinwall. Took me a second to make sure I read that correctly, but Josh Aspinwall, the linebacker, comes up and makes the big hit on Michael Cox. That might be it for the first quarter.
It is. Matt Davis is headed to the sideline.
So 2nd down and 9 when we begin the second quarter of play. And it's been a very uneventful first quarter. An interception to kind of end that first quarter by Landon Cardigan completely broke off and just read French's eyes. And again, that's a young quarterback kind of going through your reads. That's when you progress through your reads as a quarterback. But he just stared down that receiver, and Cardigan was all over it. You could see him break before the play if you were watching him on the screen there, and he just broke it and read it beautifully.
Well, when you've got a 6'3", 6'4" cornerback, slot receiver or defender, when he jumps that route, he can stretch even another 3 feet and makes his body really long. And like you said, Landon read that really well, stepped in front of it, and it really wasn't even close. I mean, he read the quarterback's eyes, and now it's just 2nd and 9, and we got to capitalize.
And his body went horizontal, and that's what you said. When you said he kind of can extend it even longer, his body went completely horizontal. He dove for the football, so that gave him that extra little bit of time, and he cuffed it right before it hit the ground. And a beautiful, beautiful interception by Landon Cardigan. But
he was basically Superman flying through the air.
and listen, the first quarter recap's pretty easy here. Each team had 2 possessions, and each team had 2 punts. The Golden Bears picked off the last possession after 1 play from the Wolves. So you can technically say three possessions for the Wolves, and with 1 interception, that key turnover. But the Golden Bears have to come up with some kind of points here if they want any chance. You've got to turn that into momentum and kind of quiet down the crowd a little bit. So we'll begin the second quarter of play as Matt Davis under center. Man in motion, they're going to give it to Cox, and he makes a couple of guys miss, and he was about one tackler away from breaking that one and going 6, and that was Todd Bartlett once again in on the tackle.
Check that, Trent Bartlett.
Trent Bartlett, excuse me. And Michael Cox seems to be having some success running off the tackles as he picks up that first down.
When he gets inside, they've kind of neutralized that, but when he goes outside the tackle gap, he's got free reign.
He's really having success off those big tackles for the Golden Bears. And a first down for Holy Innocents as they take over inside the 19-yard line, officially in the red zone. Davis once again going to give it to Cox, tries to go to that same spot off tackle, and he gets a couple. Looks like he gets 2 or 3 yards. And it looks like Cooper Blauser in on the tackle from his defensive back spot. So 3 yards, you can get 3 yards. I think you go for it. You're Coach Winter, you get 3 yards every play. I think you're in good shape here. I know that sounds crazy, but if you get 3 yards, you're going to get a first down every 4 downs. So simple math. And
well, you got 2nd and 7. They get 5 out of this. They're at their goal, 3rd and 2, and that's Michael Cox territory right there.
And now 15-yard line is where the Golden Bears are currently at. It'll be 2nd down and 7 for Matt Davis and company. Under center, they're going to give it to Cox again and just pulverize that left side of that that defensive line, the right side of the defensive line. They go through the left side of the offensive line, and Cardo Gottlich and Bivens on the tackle for the Wolves. Michael Cox again picks up a first down off the left tackle, and that seems to be the sweet spot so far early on.
It's the same old tune, but it's a great tune if you're a Bear fan. Just grind the clock, move it down the field, tire them out, and you can already see the Wesleyan players got their hands on their hips. They knew what they were in for at the beginning of the night. They knew we were going to keep it between the tackles and tire them out, and it's working.
So 1st and goal here for the Golden Bears at the 7-yard line, and this is Michael Cox territory as they fake it to him. Davis is going to go outside. Good move by Davis. He would have got stopped right at the line of scrimmage, but he makes one little jab step, and inside the 5 he goes, so he'll get 3 on first down. And Josh Aspinwall once again on the hit for Davis.
And they're just moving it closer. 2nd and 5 at the 5. Check that at the 4.
And again, that was a big play by Davis because you get 3 yards there instead of no yards. So a big jab step, simple move there, but it gets you those 2-3 extra yards that you're looking for in the triple option.
You just don't want to take a loss of yards on the triple option.
And Davis once again, this time he's going to give it to Cox. Patient runner, lowers that shoulder, tries to fall into the end zone, and he does.
Touchdown, Michael Cox.
Touchdown, Michael Cox on a 4-yard carry, this time over the right tackle. Such a patient run that was. He waited for the spot to open up and just laid that big body in, and that was Jackson Turner trying to stop him from heading into the end zone. But touchdown, Golden Bears.
And Michael Cox is so strong, he's going to get you, if he gets past the line, he's going to get you 3 to 5 every time.
And the extra point by Wonky is up, and it is dead center, and it's good. And the Golden Bears up 7-0 here. Finally, they start to break through on that triple option, and they finally start to find something on those tackles. They seem to plug the middle a little bit, and Cox said, you know what, that's fine with me. I'll run it outside as well because I'm that good.
Well, you can't go inside, move it two gaps out and go outside the tackles. They found something they like there, they're moving it, and we look for that probably, 30 or 40 more times before the game is over?
I would say
easily.
You're going to see that a few more times, but that's how you capitalize, and that's what they were able to do last week really against Eagles Landing. They were able to capitalize on some silly penalties and some silly turnovers by Eagles Landing. They were really able to get some good field positioning and capitalize, and so far they're 1 for 1 on capitalizing here tonight. Griffin Caldwell will be back deep
You got
for the Wolves.
Peter Wonke will tee it up, and the Bears are doing what they do. Control the clock, grind it, and tire you out.
A good crowd here brought over from Holy Innocents as well. They had a big student section over there around the 30-yard line, all dressed in orange.
Spirit Night, HIES Spirit Night.
And it's a good sight. They're jumping up and down, giving the Golden Bears some love from the stands here, and it's always good to see that as well, as they now lead the Wesleyan Wolves 7-0. So Wonke on to kick it off for the Golden Bears. Again, Griffin Caldwell back deep for the Wolves. And this time, Wonke goes a little deep, and it's stopped at the 1-yard line by Caldwell. Caldwell's going to bring it up, and he's going to get hit right away. Great special teams tackle. And is that Hunter Hawk?
That's big Hunter Hawk.
And he just seems to be everywhere. Special teams, defense. He'll run the ball a couple of times tonight as well. So first real time we've mentioned Hunter Hawk's name tonight, but not going to be the last.
No, he's all over the field, all special teams. He's the guy you want in there.
So Wesleyan starting at their own 19-yard line. Leighton Dixon will be wide covering. Looks like Blauser. Cardian will cover the slot guy. And again, trips to the left side. You're going to have a tight end and a tailback in for the Wolves. French takes the snap. He's going to give it to Caldwell. Not a whole lot of space, as he will get brought down after a gain of maybe 2 yards. And Sam Aiken in on the hit for the Golden Bears. And Moreland Bell also in on the tackle for the Golden Bears. So again, and it looks like the pace has kind of slowed down just a little bit as well from J.C. French and company, the Wolves on offense. They're not quite going quite as fast as they were in the first quarter. You don't want to give the Holy Innocents the ball back very quickly, so that hurry-up offense can be detrimental as much as it can help as well. It's QB rollout to the left side. Last time they ran that. And it's just about picked off again, and it is. A tipped pass. Sam Aiken comes up with the interception. And I believe it was Felton possibly that came up with the tipped pass. Aiken was there for the diving attempt to come up, and another interception. And Landon Cardian was the one in with the tip. And what another play. So 3 plays and 2 interceptions here for the Golden Bears.
Here we go. Capitalize off those mistakes. That's what we're waiting on. So we got the ball 1st and 10 at the 27. And you can tell, like you said, their fast-paced offense, Wesleyan's, has slowed down because, they're getting tired.
And you don't want to give the ball back to an offense that takes up 5, 6, 7 minutes off the clock. You just don't want to do it. But you might as well run hurry up if it's going to be a couple of interceptions here. So a couple of mistakes by the young, very talented J.C. French, but the Golden Bears will take over on offense at the 27-yard line.
We got 27 yards to go for a touch, and that could take 8 minutes.
And Michael Cox just kind of rumbling, stumbling. He's going to get about 1. He doesn't go east and west very often, but he will this time. And Cooper Blauser on the stop for the Wolves. Short gain of about, I don't know, maybe he got a yard on first down.
Yep.
But again, absolutely no rush here on offense. We're just around the 8-minute mark here in the second quarter, so 2 interceptions so far on defense for the Golden Bears. Are hoping to turn those turnovers into points and go up 14-0.
And that's where those guys have really improved in that defensive backfield.
It's going to be pitch out left side. First time we've seen Tyquan Alexander. He's going to get hit from behind the line of scrimmage, and that was Cooper Blauser once again, who's made a couple of good plays there from the secondary on defense, and will bring up a big third down here for the Golden Bears. I'm going to go ahead and guess that they're going to go for it here, even if they don't get it on third down.
I think this could be a little out of Wanke's range. He has kicked him this far in practice, but Coach Winter, you know him. He wants to put that thing in the end zone and pretty much tire these guys out.
So third down and 12, not where the Golden Bears want to be. No wide receivers deep. Option to the right side. They're going to try to give it to Hawk. Makes one guy miss. Hunter Hawk down inside the 25. And Felton, excuse me, it looked like 22, and it was Jack Felton for the Golden Bears. And Micah Smith comes up with his first tackle of the night. It'll be 4th down and 5. So you're playing there for two down territory there. So you get 7 on third down. Now you only have 5 on 4th down. I would expect them to go out wide once again, or maybe off tackle. That seems to be where they've had the most success.
They brought in Wanke. They got it within his range. So points are going to be valuable in this early going here. Marshall Nichols is your holder.
So it'll be 4th down, but it'll be a field goal attempt, 37-yard field goal here from Peter Wanke. Snap is down, the kick is up, and it is dead center. Peter Wanke drills the 37-yard field goal. 39 yards, they say, corrected on the field. So 39-yard field goal by Peter Wanke. And another big play, and you get that turnover, and you put it into points. Now up 10-0, the Golden Bears.
And it has to be deflating for Wesleyan. I know they held them, kept them out of the end zone, but when you put any kind of point on the board in a game that's going to be low scoring and going to be fought in the trenches all night, that's a good thing. So we've got a 10-0 game, 7:36 left in the second quarter.
And we know, listen, J.C. French has had a rough first half so far, but he can also throw a dime down the field and make a 60, 70-yard touchdown pass as well. So just something to watch out for. Griffin Caldwell once again back deep, as well as Cooper Blauser, the 2 deep men, to receive this kick is what I was trying to say. Receive this kick for the Wesleyan Wolves as Wanke will once again kick it off for the Golden Bears.
You know, it's a sea of orange on both sides of the field. Wesleyan stands and the Holy Innocent stands.
And it looks like we will have another possession here for the struggling offense of the Wesleyan Wolves. But as a young quarterback, it gets in your psyche a little bit. It shows kind of your mental capacity. How are you going to respond? 2 interceptions, how do you respond? If you're the Golden Bears, keep doing what you're doing on defense.
And keep in mind, they were down 2 touchdowns at the half last week and came back and beat Prince Avenue. So they're known for coming back.
And Blauser at the 10, and he's going to get hit right away, spin off a couple of defenders, and get brought down at around the 26-yard line or so. And Hunter Hawk once again on the stop for the Golden Bears. So they will begin this possession at around the 26-yard line. And the last 2 possessions for the Wolves have gone 3 plays and 2 interceptions. So Sam Aiken with an interception and Landon Cardian with an interception.
You talk about 2 good linebackers, Big Hunter Hawk and William Willis in there. You're not going to run on those guys.
Shotgun formation. French is going to hand it off to Caldwell, and he's going to get stuck right about 2 yards past the line of scrimmage. Great form tackle by Jack Felton. comes up and fills the gap beautifully, and a beautiful tackle. You keep that head straight up and just wrap up the runner, and that's what he did, and drove him back, held him to a gain of about 3 yards.
You're exactly right. It was a perfect example of a form tackle, and he lifted him and put him down on his back, and that's deflating for a running back. So here we go, 2nd and 7.
Under 7 minutes now on the second quarter clock. J.C. French, another quarterback rollout, going to get chased from behind. He's going to go deep. He has his receiver and just overthrows him. And my goodness, he had Wyatt Hodges, and Hodges had his defender beat. But again, French just a hair off on that pass attempt.
And that's something that we don't mind. When the good quarterback is off, it makes the defense a lot more susceptible to know that they can defend that, and they play the run, and they got good defensive backs. So that's going to be good for us all night if he's off.
And you're getting him on these quarterback rollouts to give him some time. They know they're going to face some pressure from the interior of that defensive line for the Golden Bears. They're trying to roll him out, but ever since he's kind of gone on the move, it makes him a little less accurate so far here in the first half as well.
And that was a wheel route, and now you got a stack formation on the left side. You got the quarterback.
7, and down he goes. And that Sam Aiken again, and Griffin McInnes this time. It looked like number 5, but it was or number 6, excuse me, but it was Griffin McInnes in on the sack. I don't know if they'll call it a sack, but he hit J.C. French right at the line of scrimmage, and drops him down, and another 3rd down, 3 and out here for the Wolves on offense.
And that's the same thing with Griffin McInnes too. He anchors that defensive line, and he was hurt often last year, and he's come back strong this year. Just a big kid, bought into the weight program, and now it's paying dividends.
And he has made some huge plays this year at Eagles Landing. I know he had a couple of big plays. Rutland a couple of weeks ago had a couple of big sacks as well. And end-over-end kick is going to be a short one. Everybody stay away. That'll bounce out of bounds, and the Golden Bears starting in excellent field position.
Ref is still walking.
All the way up 45-yard line. An excellent field position for the Golden Bears.
Now here's where the Bears really get good. They're ahead. They like to check off at the line. They know they can run on you, and they're just going to dominate you. And we got 5:48 left in the half, and you know it's coming. It's coming right at you, and there's not a lot you can do about it.
That's been an issue all season with defenses going up against this Golden Bears offense. So.
You know they moved James Gleason from center to tight end, and boys, he paid dividends. And look what we got: defense jump, offsides on the defense. It's going to make it 1st and 5.
And listen, that guarantees you 1 or 2 encroachments, neutral zone infraction, whatever you want to call it on defense, at least 1 or 2 a game. It never fails.
Going to happen.
5 yards guaranteed. That's 5-10 yards in penalties almost every single game. They held their ground in the first quarter, but this time it'll make it 1st and 5 here for Holy Innocents as they're right at midfield with a short field. They would love nothing more than to waste about 5 minutes and 47 seconds off this clock and go into halftime with a 17-0 lead. They give it to Cox, who lowers that shoulder, and he's going to get 2 yards there on 1st down. And it looked like he got hit by a couple of different defenders here for the Wesleyan Wolves. And once again, it was Tanner Bivens.
And there you go. You've got that scenario that the Bears love, 2nd and 3. So they got 2 downs to get 3 yards. And this is what they love. This is how they dominate.
And that's why we talked about the interior being clogged up, and that's because Tanner Bivens. We talked about it a little bit pregame. We've talked about it a little bit during the 1st and 2nd quarters. But he's really doing a good job of clogging up that middle, forcing Cox to go outside. Problem is, Cox is going outside, and he's having some success. And there he is off the tackle again. It'll be another 1st down for the Golden Bears. And he gets about 4 or 5 yards there on 2nd down. Cooper Blauser comes in and knocks down Cox after that 1st down run. So the Golden Bears once again move the chains. And under 5 minutes to go here. It'll be 1st down and 10 for the Golden Bears.
That last tackle.
And Bobby Cook, okay. Bobby Cook on the tackle for the Wolves as well with Bivens. So man in motion, they're going to fake it to Cox, and they're going to give it out to the outside at Tyquan Alexander. Makes a couple of guys miss and keeps keeps those legs churning. He's going to get hit by about 4 or 5 different guys there, led by Trent Bartlett. And Tyquan Alexander is going to pick up a first down. Good, patient run by Tyquan Alexander.
Tyquan does that so well. He gets behind his blocker, lets the block form, and then he cuts off of it. And you got Wesleyan calling a timeout. They need a breather. And while we got a timeout, Nathan, I'd like to talk about this game next week at Holy Innocents. First ever varsity home game at the school on our field. The kids get to come out of their locker room, walk on that field, and defend their turf. And it looks like it's going to be one of many to come with what's going on at the school. It starts at 4:30. The place is going to be packed. We brought in extra stands, so it's going to be a great time. So make sure you make your plans to be there next weekend, next Friday night, for the first ever Bears varsity home game.
And there's a lot to play for that night, not just you're playing at home. That's obviously a huge factor, an actual home, not another home. But we mentioned it a little bit ago. They've got to go and win another football game, and they lost last year 32-29 to that school. They've got to come back, and I think that's going to be on their mind. And they're going to be out. They're going to be smelling blood a little bit, shark in the water next week, and they'll be ready to go play football.
Every week you got that bullseye on your back, and now it's about finishing strong and getting in that top 8 to get a home playoff game.
Matt Davis once again under center, first down and 10 at the Wolves' 32-yard line. They give it to Cox, lowers the shoulder. He gets inside the 30 down to around the 27-yard line, so a gain of about 5. And he's brought down by J.D. Chipman.
And here we go, that familiar scenario, 2nd and 5, and that's what they want to be. 2 downs to get 5 yards.
And it looks like, is it Hunter Hawk in the backfield with
Michael and Tyquan.
And Matt Davis once again under center. Hunter Hawk goes in motions. Davis is going to keep it. He's going to fall inside the 25 down to around the 24. So it'll bring up your ever so special 3rd down and 2. And that was Cardo Gottlich and Jackson Turner both in on the tackle for the Wolves. So 3rd down and 2. This is going to be 4-down territory if they don't pick it up on 3rd down, I believe, as well, for the Golden Bears. That clock is just ticking under 3.5 minutes now here in the 2nd quarter of play, as the Golden Bears lead the Wesleyan Wolves 10-0 on the Golden Bear Network. Coach Gaines and Nathan Griotti here as Davis got to keep it and give it to Michael Cox. He's just rumbling, stumbling, shedding guys, and he's going to get down to around the 12-yard line, a gain of 12 on 3rd down. Bivens in on the tackle as well for the Wolves.
How strong is Michael Cox? He's dragging 3 or 4 guys and still getting yards on the drag. So, again, he's going to be the guy you go to on 3rd and 2. You give it to Michael, you are pretty much guaranteed a first down.
1st down and 10 just outside the 10-yard line at the 12. And in motion, they're going to fake it to Cox and get it out to Felton on the outside. Tries to split a couple of defenders. He's going to get down to around the 10-yard line. And a gain of 2 on 1st down.
Ball carried by Jack Felton.
And Felton does get the carry, and Bobby Cox and Andrew Ree on the tackle for the Wolves. 2 minutes, 20 seconds now on the clock. And again, Golden Bears just ever so patiently walking themselves up to the line, taking their time. That defense, hands on their hips, huffing and puffing to see if they can finish this drive off with some points. Fake it to Cox. Davis is going to keep it, and this time he's going to pitch it. Tyquan has all kinds of space. Touchdown, Tyquan Alexander.
Matt Davis was wrapped up and still made the pitch. They all conversed on him, and look at that. Tyquan takes it in. 10-yard run, touchdown Bears.
And just like that, 16-0, the Golden Bears go up on the Wesleyan Wolves. And that play is Matt Davis written all over it on that. I mean, just a beautiful red pitch. It looked like he was about to cut upfield and take a hit, and instead, ever so smartly and calmly, I might add, just pitches it right out to Tyquan, who picked up a block on the outside and goes in for the touchdown. Wanke's extra point is up and good. 17-0. The Golden Bears leading the Wesleyan Wolves.
With 1:58 left in the half, and it seems like the Bears' offense has been on the field the whole first half. And they've got a pep in their step now. You can see it. Wesleyan's walking to the team huddle with their hands on their hips. They know that this is going to be a dogfight in the second half.
And you called it, right? You called it. It was waiting for that first kind of big play of the game. It was kind of a mundane. It was a slow paced. Everybody was just kind of no success on either side of the ball. And then all of a sudden that interception, and look what that interception has done. It's kind of sparked the entire game for the Golden Bears. It led to another interception and a touchdown and a field goal, and now it led to another touchdown for the Golden Bears as they lead 17-0. So 2-minute drill coming up for J.C. French and the Wesleyan Wolves on offense. And they are looking to desperately get some points. And Blauser back deep, as well as Caldwell, the running back for the Wesleyan Wolves.
Wankey will tee it up. And our stands over there, the student section in their orange, are jumping.
And Wankey will line it up from the 40. And it is a long boot. That might go into the end zone, and it does. So though Blauser will catch it about 1 yard or so into the end zone, and they will begin the drive at the 20-yard line.
You talk about a weapon, the kicking game. Anytime your kicker can kick off and put it in the end zone, that negates a run back, which could turn into a big play. And now here we go again. It's the Bears. Now the Bears are on defense, and they're feeling it.
And that's why, I say it on every single broadcast, is that special teams, offense, and defense, there's 3 parts of the game. Special teams is just as important as offense and defense. You can see the weapons here tonight. Another quarterback rollout, and my goodness, J.C. French took an absolute shot in the backfield. And I believe it was Hunter Hawk getting in the backfield. He came on a delayed blitz and just hit J.C. French right in the rib cage. And a lot of the fans wanted some pass interference down here. Nothing called. Good defense there by Cardian and Leighton Dixon playing it deep.
And if there's one guy you don't want to take a hit from like that, it's Hunter Hawk, because he lays out, he comes in there forcefully and explodes, and you're vulnerable throwing the ball, and that's what he did. He got a good rib shot on him.
So 2nd down and 10 here for J.C. French, and they're going to hand it off to Caldwell. He's going to split the line and get hit by Moreland Bell. I know was in on the tackle as well, and a couple of others. I think Hunter Hawk came in late, and Sam Aiken in there as well.
You know, you got 3rd and 8, and I wouldn't doubt it if Coach Winter doesn't call a timeout if they don't get any yards on this 3rd down play. See if he can force a bad punt and possibly get down there and maybe put 3 on the board.
So 1:20 and counting here, 3rd down and 8. And it looks like the Wolves are in no hurry this time on offense. They got trips to the right side. As we approach the 1 minute mark, it'll be 3rd down and 8 for the Wolves. Blauser goes out wide, and a flag on the play. False start is going to be called on the Wolves.
And they were going 5 wide that time. They were going to air it out that time.
And so that'll back them up another 5 yards.
And you know the thing about when you get tired like the Wolves are, you start having penalties called on you. Start doing things that you don't normally do. You become undisciplined, and right now the Bears are capitalizing on everything.
You feel like you're in a rush.
Yes.
And you feel like you're in a rush, and I completely agree. 3rd down and 13 for young J.C. French and the Wolves offense. He's going to take the shotgun snap, has some time to throw, but he gets hit as he throws, and it's completed out at the 45-yard line with some space to go, and he breaks a tackle inside the 30, the 20, 15 down the left sideline, breaks another tackle inside the 5. And what a gigantic play. They finally break one, and a penalty flag is going to be called.
Yep, we got a flag down, and everybody's walking back that way.
And we'll see if it's going to be holding. And Ronnie Williams makes the touchdown-saving tackle down here for the Golden Bears. So it's either going to be holding or roughing the passer. Those are prime spots for those flags.
Nope, the Wolves are walking backwards, holding on the Wolves.
And that negates about a 75-yard play by the Wesleyan Wolves.
What that comes down to is a loud, noisy, long pass for nothing.
And my goodness, a great defensive play. Ronnie Williams gets back deep and really saves the touchdown. It would have been negated anyway, but great hustle by him to make the touchdown-saving tackle. It wasted about 20 seconds off the clock, that entire play, catch and run. And so now you're down to 34.7, and it's going to bring up a third down and around, I think, 20 or 23 yards here for the Wolves.
You'd almost have to say if Coach Winters gets it back within the next 5-10 seconds, he's going down that ball. He feels pretty lucky right now that he got a holding call and negated what would be a 1st and goal at the 2-yard line.
I think you take no risks and take that 17-0 lead into halftime. I'd be very, very happy about it. So 3rd down and 24, 20 seconds on the clock, and they might just, we'll see if they just let the clock run out here and go to halftime and just say, you know what, no more penalties, no more plays. And I think that's what they're going to do. Under 10 seconds, and that will do it here for the first half. That will do it. That will do it from the first half as the Golden Bears are going to go into halftime on the road at Wesleyan with a 17-0 lead over the Wesleyan Wolves.
And the Bears will get the second half kickoff to start, and that's playing into their hands.
And a fantastic first half. It really kind of started out slow. Punt, 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 punt. And then a Cardian interception, which led to a 4-yard touchdown run by Michael Cox. Golden Bears go up 7-0. Sam Aiken on the ensuing possession. 2 plays into that possession makes a fantastic interception, which leads to a 39-yard field goal by Peter Wonke, who splits the uprights beautifully. And the Golden Bears go up 10-0. Wesleyan was forced to punt on the following possession. Taekwon Alexander then goes in from 10 yards out to give the Golden Bears a 17-0 lead here on the road. Very underrated there, on the road in a top 5 battle in 1A private football here in Georgia.
And Coach Nick has got that defense playing right where they need to be. They're defending the pass well. They're taking away the run. They're giving the ball back to the offense. And that's kind of our forte right there. And then you give it to Michael Cox, and then you've got Taekwon on the outside with speed, and of course you've got the brain of the whole get-up, and that's Matt Davis at quarterback.
And plays it very well, limited turnovers, and that is key to the season, especially in the triple option. Last year, you don't want to get down 24-0 in a game like this, running the triple option. Very, very difficult to get back into it, but what a start to the season it's been so far here for the Golden Bears. They started off with Mount Pisgah with a 28-0 victory at home to start the season. The second game of the season, Hebron Christian, close one. It was a close one.
It was.
They had a pretty substantial lead. They let Hebron kind of get back into it a little bit, but they held them off and won 28-21 at home as well. Then traveled down to Macon, that long drive, 2 hours or so to get down to Macon. They took on Rutland. That game kind of started off a little slow, but then it kind of picked up the pace here and defeated Rutland 31-0 on the road to move to 3-0 on the season. And the fourth, of course, last week was the big one, and that was Eagles Landing Christian, and they were looking forward to that one. They had some pep in their step on the sidelines, and that was the game of the year so far as they went 42-41 in overtime after the missed extra point by Eagles Landing and the run-in. An extra point made by Wonke, and everybody kind of storming the field. And Coach, we had a kind of a question, not really a question, I would say. It was more of a concern of how they were going to respond. You talk about they were focused, they were ready to kind of laser in and be focused. And tonight they kind of proved it. It started off a little slow, but they felt it after that interception and just kept rolling down the hill in a good way for the Bears.
Yesterday's practice was total focus. They were zoned in. And it just shows what Coach Winters has got going on with this program. Every week, week in, week out, it's the same thing. And everybody's bought into it. And it's a great thing right now. And to see, heck, I don't know, it seemed like 5,000 people on the field after the game gathered around the team on the team post-game talk and prayer. And it was so good for the community, the kids, the coaches, and the program. And that's where it stands. And here's what goes on with we got football next week. The middle school plays Wesleyan here next week. So, again, the middle school played Eagles Landing Christian yesterday and lost a tough one, 30-22. Had the ball with 30 seconds to go, going for the tying score. and couldn't do it on fourth down. But to show that our guys are now have risen to the top and now want to take over the top spot.
And that's what I was actually going to point out, is that they want more, and that's leadership. It's senior-led team, and that's senior-led team, and that's the difference, right?
Yes.
And that's part of the difference. And look, Wesleyan is going to be there. They got sophomores all over the field. A couple of years from now, Wesleyan's going to be around as well. So we'll see them again. But I think the Golden Bears, they kind of have a spark in their eye, and I think they want more than just. They want more than just to win a big one against Eagles Landing. They want to keep this winning streak alive going into the playoffs.
Well, the great thing about what Coach Winters has got going on in the program is that all the way from the 7th grade team all the way to the varsity, we are running triple options. So by the time these 7th graders are 9th and 10th graders, they're going to be running this stuff with precision, just like Matt Davis said. Hey, he started out as a 9th grader running this offense, shaky at first, but now you wouldn't want anybody else in the state to run this offense but Matt Davis.
Great first half for the Golden Bears. They lead 17-0 over the Wesleyan Wolves on the road. They got 2 quarters to see if they can close it out and move to 5-0. So we're going to take a little bit of a break and come back right before the second half begins, and we'll have 2 more quarters of football.
And let me say also, the 7th grade team is playing tomorrow, 10 o'clock at St. Pius. So if you're in that area, get over there and support our younger Bears that are going to be the future.
All right, we'll be back in here in just a little bit. Enjoy the halftime, and we will be back in about 10 to 15 minutes for the second half of football right here on the Golden Bear.
We're back.
We are back.
We are back.
We are back on the Golden Bear Network here. A couple minutes before we have second half kickoff. We kind of recap the first half at the end of the first half going into halftime. But let's kind of look towards the second half. It kind of feels like the Wolves are going to come out a little more energized. I think the Golden Bears are going to have to score. I don't think they're going to win with 17 points. Let me just put it that way.
I look for them to put wings on the ball and let it fly. And, you know, this whole week, Nathan, there's been a big buzz around the school. You knock off the number one, the perennial number one, who's been there every year, won the last 4 out of 5 state championships. And it just shows with what happened just now on the far sidelines, our sidelines, the whole entire student body came out of the stands and lined the track in the field where we come out of the locker room and gave all the players high fives as they came out. And that's what this program has been just aching for, and now they got it. So, you know, it's going to be a tale of two halves. I bet, like I said, they're going to throw it all over the field, and we're going to look to grind it, and we get the ball first, and that's going to be a good thing.
And you just kind of take a look at J.C. French, what a cannon he has, just throwing it from 50 yards without even stepping, and beautiful passes. They have the ability to score some quick points. I mean, and we saw it right here. It almost went for a 75, 80-yard touchdown pass if it wasn't for a holding penalty. They have the ability to make this a game very, very quickly if the Golden Bears aren't careful. So you got to come out, screw your head on right, buckle your helmet strap there, and you got to focus because you got to finish a game like this. That's when it comes down to. You got to finish.
Well, I tell you, the great thing about Coach Winters and what he employs with the football program is you look at it, and I don't think we've had a penalty the first half. The Bears didn't. And we're disciplined.
Yep.
He instills that every day in practice, and he doesn't let you get away with anything. You're held accountable for what you do, and it shows. These guys are disciplined. They're running the ball up and down the field, and we got a pep in our step, and it's going to be a good second half. So here we go.
And that's what it comes down to. I think discipline is a very key word. You know, last week we talked about you're gonna have to play a clean game against a team like that. You're gonna have to play a clean game against a team like this as well. And on the other side, we've kind of forced them into some very costly penalties. They're having to roll out J.C. French to get him some time to throw the football. Hunter Hawk seems to be in the backfield. We've mentioned Griffin McInnes a couple of times as well. And so I think they're having to roll out J.C. French a little bit, and he's a little less accurate when he seems to be on the move tonight. And I think if he can get some time in the pocket, he's going to be able to throw the football across all over the pond, as they say. But I think that's the key. The Holy Innocents has been really effective tonight, getting in the backfield and putting some pressure and getting some good hits on J.C. French. It makes you think when you're the quarterback.
Yes, I mean, when you're having to run for your life back there as the quarterback and you got a good defensive backfield, that really puts pressure on the offense. And right now, I don't see Wesleyan coming out and straying too much from their game plan. You know what they're going to do. They're 17 points down, but the Bears got the ball to start the second half, and if they can put one in here, they will really put the pressure on them.
Oh, the irony if they go up 24 to nothing, the irony would be very, very heavy here tonight. But they got a lot of work to do. Listen, it's a long game. A lot of football is left to be played here, and it's going to be a good second half. I think back deep for the first time, really, back deep is Jack Felton for the Golden Bears as well, of course, with the speedster Taekwon Alexander.
And you talk about Taekwon, he can run a 4.4 40. And when you have that on the option, you got a guy like that can run, it really negates a defense.
24 minutes left of football here on the Golden Bear Network between the Wesleyan Wolves and the Holy Innocents Golden Bears, and it'll be Javi Martinez will be kicking it off for the Wesleyan Wolves to decide a big matchup here in Norcross. And the second half is underway, and a big boot from Martinez. That's going to go well into the end zone, and the Golden Bears will start it at the 20-yard line. That might be the worst starting field position of the night so far. They had one possession inside the 20 where they started, but that's the second worst field position of the night here for the Golden Bears on a touchback. So they got to go 80 yards if they want to put another put another 6 or 7 points on the board here.
They've been known to go 80 yards in 12 minutes too, so this could last the whole third quarter. But they want to remain disciplined, run the ball with Michael Cox and get out on the edge with Matt Davis. And they come out in two tights again, which has been their forte. And here we go, 1st and 10 Bears.
And the bread and butter in the backfield is Michael Cox. The defensive line almost jumps off sides again with a man in motion, and it was Dixon running, kind of moving in the backfield just a little bit there. But Davis once again takes his time. He will be under center for the Golden Bears. He's going to hand it off to Cox. And, of course, he fakes it to him. And he gets it out to Tyquan Alexander right side. And he'll get bounced out at around the 22-yard line, maybe the 23, so a gain of 3 on the carry.
Very patient runner.
And Micah Smith on the stop.
Gets behind his blocker, lets him make the block and cuts off of it. And there we go. We got a gain of 3 on the play. Going to bring up a 2nd and 7, which is where we want to be. And here they come out in two tight again. Matt Davis under center.
23-yard line. They need 7. They need to get out to the 30 for a first down. This time they're going to give it to Cox, who has some space, but it closes quickly out across the 25 to around the 26. Maybe gets to the 27. Maybe gets 3 or 4 there. And Bivens and Astonwall on the stop for the Wolves.
You know, Bivens has been busy all night. How would you like it when you know that you got to tackle Michael Cox all night long?
And you have to think he was ready, mentally prepared and ready, but it's another thing to be mentally prepared and then be physically prepared when he starts coming at you with that big 230-pound body. And he fakes it to Cox again, gets it out to Tyquan, tries to turn the corner, and he does, has some space, makes 2 guys miss up the left sideline and just gets taken down on the feet. Otherwise, Tyquan might have taken that one, but there is a penalty marker on the play, and that was Trent Bartlett, who made the touchdown saving tackle, and that's right in the spot of holding on the wide receiver for the Golden Bears.
Bears are walking backwards. So that's going to, looks like it's going to be the first penalty of the night against the Bears.
I guess that's what we get for talking about it, right?
Yes.
That's all right. And it is going to be holding on the Golden Bears. So that negates a big play by Tyquan. And that was a great run. Oh, offsetting penalties.
Holding on Holy Innocents, face mask.
So holding on Holy Innocents and a face mask on Wesleyan.
Yes.
So they'll just replay 3rd down
3
and 3.
Yep. That puts a whole different spin on your play call right now, because you know you can run it and get the first down. You don't have to throw it. You got a 3rd and 3. Matt Davis is looking over at Coach Winter for the play.
And once again, this looks like they moved it to the other hash here, and so they will kind of move the huddle and shift the huddle here, but they come to the line of scrimmage, and it'll be 3rd down and 3, a big 3rd down for the Wesleyan defense. And Holy Innocents would love to be able to keep this drive going here on 3rd down. Davis under center, crouches down low, gets it, fakes it to Cox, and Davis is going to keep it, jumps over a defender, and he gets out, and a first down. Great run by Matt Davis.
And a quarterback keeper.
He was brought down by number 6, Wyatt Hodges, but not before he made an ESPN top play of hurdling a pile of defenders and getting that big first down for the Bears.
And he rolls out to the right side, and he puts that right foot in the ground and just cuts it right upfield and jumps over the defenders for the first down. Great run there by Matt Davis.
Again, we were looking at Michael Cox, thought he had the ball. Matt Davis has it. And then you go back and you give it to Michael Cox, and he grinds out 9 yards, 8 yards.
And that is what Matt Davis running the football can do, because it opens it up just a little bit for Michael Cox to get 7 or 8 yards, and Chipman and Astonwall in on the tackle for the Wolves. 8 yards there on first down for the Golden Bears.
How key has Matt Davis been all year on making 3rd down runs, just like he did last week against Eagles Landing Christian? 3rd and 12, gets the first down, 1st and goal at the 5, at the 3, and Michael Cox puts it in next play.
Timely and critical is how you describe Matt Davis on 3rd down. He loves to pick it up, and he hands it off to Cox this time, who just kind of looks like a bowling ball there and knocks down some pins, and he will pick up a first down for the Golden Bears once again. And once again, Tanner Bivens in on the tackle. He's getting his fair share of tackles and opportunities here tonight, as he kind of expected from that defensive line spot, giving the ball to Michael Cox so much. But He's getting his tackles, but none of them seem to be behind the line of scrimmage, and that's what's key for a big defensive lineman.
And, you know, you go in at halftime, you make these adjustments, and it looks like the Holy Innocents offensive staff has made some great adjustments. They're finding those open holes right outside the tackles now.
And first down and 10 for the Golden Bears. They're going to give it to Cox once again. He'll get past the 50 down to around the 49 as Holy Innocents enters Wesleyan territory. So it'll be about 3 yards on first down.
Jackson Turner on the tackle.
And it looks like Jackson Turner on the tackle from his defensive line spot as he hits Cox. So this is an exact replica of a drive that you draw up if you're the Golden Bears to kind of start this third quarter. If they can just keep it up and get some points out of it, it'll be even better.
They've gone 30 yards and knocked 4 minutes off the clock.
And they're going to give it to Cox again, and he just moves the pile. See that? But that's the difference, right? He gets stopped 1 yard past the line of scrimmage, but he gets 3 and 4 yards every time that happens. And that's the difference between Michael Cox and a lot of other running backs. He keeps those big old legs moving.
Tackle made by Josh Askenwall.
Josh Astonwall on the tackle, and Bevins in on the tackle as well for the Wolves.
And now they're in that familiar 3rd down and 4, 3rd and 3.
And another critical 3rd down here from the Golden Bears. They're going to fake it to Cox and pitch it out to Taekwon, trying to find some places to go, and he's going to get about 1 yard, maybe 2 yards short.
Hunter Hawk leading the play.
Maybe even 3 yards short of that first down.
He broke off the block, and he did get 2. It's going to bring up a 4th and 2, and I don't see the punter coming on.
And so if you're Wesleyan, you got to gear up and put everybody in that box to try to stop Michael Cox in that outside run, possibly from Taekwon or Matt Davis, who's, again, we talked about critical and timely first downs from Matt Davis running the football. It'll be 4th down and 2 from the Wesleyan 44-yard line. Davis is going to keep it, just cut it upfield, and he has the first down. He trips and actually took a pretty hard hit there. But he falls forward and gets the first down. Another timely run by Matt Davis. And tackled by Josh Aspinwall again. And looks like a man down on the field for the Wesleyan Wolves.
And that's Tanner Bivens who's down.
And that is not what you want to see if you're a Wolves fan.
You know, what do? You're calling defenses. You're going up against this option team. You got the big 230-pound Michael Cox. I mean, you're thinking he's going to get it, and all of a sudden Matt Davis pops outside for a 5-yard run, gets the first down, keeps the drive alive. Already 7.5 minutes gone, or rather 6 minutes gone in this third quarter, and the Bears have only gone 40 yards.
And still going as they pick up a first down. And we like to mention that Bivens gets up and walks off his own power. It looked like he maybe a cramp or something on the lower leg. So obviously we hope that he is okay. But we're going to go back to the game here as Holy Innocents has another first down on a critical Matt Davis run, which I feel like you can just tape me saying that over the first few weeks of the season and play it every game because it seems to always happen. And it'll be first down and 10. And again, they've taken almost 5 minutes off this third quarter clock already, and they've only gone 40 yards.
And I tell you, this is a senior-laden team right here that's on the field driving this ball down, and it really helps to have seniors lead the program like they're doing now. They bought in as 9th graders 3 years ago, and here they are, number 2 in the state, looking to put out number 5 and go on to bigger and better things next week.
And this can only help in those ever so important power rankings that come out. As Eagles Landing is still actually number 1 in those power rankings with the loss, according to Georgia High School football.
And then you got in another poll, Athens Academy is ranked number 1. So there's all different kinds of polls.
Yep.
But you know, basically, when you get there to the end, you're going to see Eagles Landing Christian at the end.
And they'll be there. They're too talented. And Michael Cox, as we were talking, lowered the shoulder, bounced off about 2 different guys, and Wyatt Hodges comes up and finally makes a tackle. But Michael Cox, it looked like he even ran harder than usual on that play and picked up about 4, maybe 5 yards on first down.
Yep.
So this will be the 11th play of the drive for the Golden Bears. And Davis looks to the sideline for the play call. And Davis once again the deep back for the Golden Bears, and they're going to give it to him once again. He falls forward. He's going to be about 2 yards, maybe 3 yards short of the first down. So it'll be third down, familiar territory, and 3. Bivens on the tackle as he has come back in and made his mark once again, and he's getting anywhere from 2 to 4 yards. That's where Bivens seems to be getting down Michael Cox just about every play. We seem to be calling his name. And offensive line has done a great job tonight for the Golden Bears as well. They've really done a great job at kind of opening up some holes on the outside.
I would venture to say that this is 2-down territory no matter what.
Third down and 4.
And they draw them offsides. Offsides Wesleyan. Great job by Matt Davis.
And the hard count works again. So automatic first down.
He could get a car with a dead battery to jump off sides.
That hard count has worked many times. We talked about it. It seems to work a lot during the season, and that's 2 tonight that they've drawn them off sides. So
that's a free first down. Don't even have to run a play.
First down and 10, Golden Bears inside the 30 on this drive. And they give it to Cox over the right tackle. Jumps over one guy, brings a couple of guys with him down inside the 25 to around the 24. So it looks like he's going to get 5 on first down.
Tackle made by
Astonwall and Gottlich on the tackle for the Wolves.
But not before he gains, 6 yards? So you got 2nd and 4, and you basically have got 3 downs to pick it up, the way Coach Winter looks at it.
And they officially give him, I think they officially give him 5. I thought it was 6 yards as well, but I think they officially give him 5, so it'll be 2nd down and 5. But either way, they give it to Cox. All kinds of space over the left tackle. He's going to roll all the way down to the 12-yard line, and Bivens catches him from behind as well as Gottlich.
And again, another first down. Wesleyan has to call timeout. They're gassed, and they're walking off the field. Holy Innocents fans are over there on their feet. This is a great sight for the Bear Nation.
And look, if you just watched Wesleyan coming off the field, they just look drained. They look absolutely drained. There's no hustle, no energy. Sometimes there's just nothing that you can do.
That's it.
Even when you fill the gaps,
you
can't stop the running back.
You're in a situation where you're trying your hardest and there's nothing you can do. The system works really well, and the kids have bought into it. Coaches, and it's working. And after 3 years, Coach Winter has really got this program all the way at the top now. So that's what we want. Every week is big. You got that target on your back.
And look, 4 minutes, 58 seconds left in this third quarter, and it's the same possession as when we started.
And we've got 12 yards to go for a first down, and this could take all of 4 minutes and 58 seconds.
And you're right, and they're on the 14th play of the drive as Holy Innocents starting out this third quarter. We talked about when were they going to have a drive that's 15 to 20 plays, and this is going to fall into that category. Next play will make it 15. So
how demoralizing is it when you don't touch the ball the entire third quarter?
And your greatest weapon is your offense, and they can't get on the field. Nope. And they can't get on the field.
You're absolutely right.
And J.C. French is probably sitting over there twiddling his thumbs trying to figure out when do I get to touch the football. Holy Innocents is trying to not let that happen at all, as Cox just going to get tripped up in the backfield. And it looked like by Micah Smith, and also number 9 I think was in the backfield as well. And Josh Morris as well trips up Michael Cox. So he gets 2 on first down.
Positive gain.
So this will be the 15th play of the drive here for the Golden Bears. And they have...
And that clock is ticking, baby.
7.5 minutes and counting off the clock. Davis once again takes his time, and he will be under center. And he's going to once again hand it off to Michael Cox, who has some space.
Touchdown.
Throws everybody out of the way and backs into the end zone. Touchdown, Michael Cox.
He basically said, just get off me. I'm going into the end zone.
And what a play. Michael Cox goes in on the 15th play of the drive. It takes almost 8 minutes off the clock, and they go 80 yards, and they cap off a pretty darn impressive drive here in the third quarter.
Like you said, close to 8 minutes on that drive, and you come away with a touchdown, and they're about to be up 24-0. Wankey on for the extra point.
Perfect on extra points on the season. Almost gets it blocked by Smith up, and it's good. 24-0. We talked about a little bit of irony coming back at 24-0 last year. Of course, we're mentioning that Holy Innocents was down 24-0 at the half, and they came back to score 16 straight. And this time, they're up 24-0 here in the third quarter after one of the most impressive drives that we've seen all season.
You know, you just play after play in the trenches, and you've got big Michael Cox coming at you the whole time, and then all of a sudden Matt Davis pops it outside, so it becomes very demoralizing for a defense. And now you can see the Wesleyan players walking with their hands on their hips, and they're trying to figure out a spark. Like you said, J.C. French is sitting over there on the sidelines wondering how he can get in the game. Well, you can't with this methodical drive that just happened. So the Bears go up 24-0 with 4:17 left in the third quarter.
And it also makes you feel a little antsy. If you're the Wolves, right, you sit down, you just had a 15-minute halftime, and then you come out and you got to sit another 15 minutes after the other team gets the football. So, he's got to be itching to get back in the game, which can also cause some turnovers perhaps here in the second half. It caused some in the first half, and now he thinks he has to press a little bit here to begin the third quarter. And so it's just something to watch out for as
Exactly.
the Golden Bears look to kind of keep this pace going at 24-0.
And when you press, you're going to make mistakes. And Coach Winter, a brilliant offensive mind, has put together a great game plan, put the Bears on top 24-0. And here we go. Kickoff. Looks like it's going to be a run back by number 7, Cooper Blauser.
Has some space and some speed.
He's got a wedge.
And he's going to get brought down, but a pretty solid return there. About 32, 33-yard return there by Cooper Blauser. And Hunter Hawk and Sam Aiken both in on the tackle for the Golden Bears, as Wesleyan will take over at their own 36-yard line. So pretty good field position here for the Wolves. And again, you can tell your young quarterback, don't press. Take what they're giving you. We'll move the football here and try to get on the board. And Holy Innocents defense, keep doing what you're doing because you've played an outstanding game. And quick out to Micah Smith, and that's who they want to get the football to. He can make some things happen. And he's going to get dragged down and the ball's out.
Bears ball. No, he called him down. That was clearly a fumble, and he called him down.
And it looks like they spun Micah Smith down. He was holding it like a loaf of bread in that right hand as he got spun down.
And I tell you what a great play by Landon Cardian. Came over on the screen pass, broke down, didn't let him go, got to him, ripped the ball out. That was clearly a fumble. The ref called him down. That was a gain of 8, so you got 2nd and 2. And it looks like they're going with a tight end set now to give the quarterback a little bit more protection.
And Micah Smith out wide. Once again, that's who they want to get the football to. He's the playmaker on the outside. And they're fake it to Caldwell. And French is going to scramble for his life. And a big hit again by Hunter Hawk, but they're going to call a late hit on Hunter Hawk in the backfield, and another flag over at the 40 on the right side of your screen here. So Hunter Hawk came in late on J.C. French, so that'll be 15 yards.
That's probably going to be holding on the cornerback over here. It was thrown right at that where the pass was thrown, and then you had Hunter Hawk too on the play. So that could be what they'll do is they'll probably accept. It's not going to be. It's a double foul, but they won't enforce both penalties.
They'll accept the 15-yarder.
Exactly.
I would assume the late hit.
Yeah.
So, and you could see Hunter Hawk was coming in. He had his ears pinned back, as they like to say. He was coming full speed, and just hit JC and gave him a good hit as well. He made him know that he was there that time, but it was a late hit. It was a good call. It was a late hit, but that'll give him 15 yards. So, not exactly the way you want to start out this drive on defense. No penalties in the first half. We talked about the Golden Bears. Kind of have to keep that momentum going here. You don't want to let J.C. French kind of get a little bit of momentum on the offensive side.
Yep, they accepted the personal foul roughing the passer call. So that's going to give the Wolves a first down, and that's not what you wanted if you're the Bears defense. You want to play clean, moves the ball down to the Bears 41-yard line. So they got to be more disciplined. They can't let them get on the board here.
And you've had containment all night. So the last thing you want to do is let them out of containment here late in the third quarter and let them creep back into the game. So they're going to give it to Caldwell right up the middle, and he's stopped. Great play, and Hunter Hawk was in there kind of making up for that 15-yard penalty, and Sam Aiken in there as well for the Golden Bears. And that hole was open for a second, and then it closed real quick with Hunter Hawk and Sam Aiken closing that gap.
The Wolves have somewhat changed their tune a little bit as far as pass protection. Now they got a tight end and a wing back in, giving JC a little bit more protection to throw the ball. He's back throwing it now and throwing it deep.
And he has a man, and again, just 2 or 3 yards. He has his receiver a couple of different times, and he just overthrows his receiver, and in coverage was Landon Cardian, and I think that was Blauser who he was trying to hit deep. And again, has such a lively arm back there, and he just lets it loose. It's just a hair off tonight. He just seems to be a little off his game, and I think you can credit a little bit of that to the defense coming in and throwing some pressure in his face and getting him outside of the pocket and making him kind of throw with some pressure in his face.
And you know, when you're having a good season, those things happen for you. You have overthrows, you have fumbles, you have interceptions. Things start going your way, and disciplined players force that stuff.
3rd down and 8 now for French on the offense. He's going to drop back. He has some time to throw this time, and he hits his receiver out wide. And that was a beautiful out route, and that was, it looks like Landon Cardian on the tackle, and it looks like the receiver he hit was Wyatt Hodges, who he's targeted a couple of times on the go routes. This time he hits him on the out route, but look, the difference, he had time to throw in the pocket.
That's what bringing that tight end and wing back in will do for you. It stops that outside rush. And it looks like that's what they're pinning their ears on right now.
So it'll be 1st down and 10, the Wolves' first down in really a long time here on offense. And 1st down and 10 from the 26 of the Golden Bears.
2 minutes left in the 3rd quarter.
2 wide receivers out to the left and 1 to the right, and it's going to be a handoff to Blauser. Nowhere to go, cut off, fantastic play. Fantastic play by Ronnie Williams, who seals, and that's what you're taught, outside linebacker, defensive back. You seal the corner, you don't let him get out, and Ronnie Williams is right there to stop that play.
In football terms, that's called setting the edge, where you don't let him get outside, you force him back into the help, and just hang on till the cavalry comes, and that's what Ronnie did, and Ronnie actually made the tackle himself, so great job out there, Ronnie.
And this is Wesleyan's officially their longest drive of the night here on offense. So this will be the 7th play of the drive here for the Wesleyan offense. And French again going to roll out left, has Caldwell in as the lead blocker. Now he scrambles back out right, has a little bit of space, showing off his legs here. He's going to get inside the 20.
French on the carry, ushered out of bounds by Donovan Johnson.
He's going to get inside the 20 down to around the 17-yard line. And making something out of nothing there was J.C. French. And that'll be 3rd down and short. He does scramble out of bounds with about 1 yard to go.
And
third down and 1 here for the Wesleyan Wolves. J.C. French, shotgun formation, looking to pick up another 1st down. They're going to give it to Micah Smith, and he's going to cut up inside, and my goodness, what a hit.
Micah Smith on a jet sweep.
Willis on the tackle there for the Golden Bears, and Sam Aiken, what a hit.
No gain on the play.
Whoa. And actually he gets a loss of a half a yard, so it'll be 4th down and 1. And Wesleyan has no chance but to go for it here.
You've got to.
On 4th down.
You've got to.
And this will be the 9th play of the drive, and it could be the final. Holy Innocents would love nothing more than to get the football back right here. French on 4th down and 1 in shotgun formation.
Tried to draw him off sides. Looks like they're changing the play from the sideline. Wesleyan gets the play in.
20 seconds left here on the 4th quarter clock, or the 3rd quarter clock, excuse me. And French going to roll out to the right side. He's going to have some space to make something happen, but then he gets sacked and taken down. And a great play.
William Willis on the play, brought down in the backfield. Big loss. Bears take over.
And turnover on downs as J.C. French had nowhere to go with the football.
What a big play for the Bears.
A fantastic defensive play. The Wesleyan Wolves go 9 plays, but they turn it over on downs inside the red zone, and the Golden Bears will take over at the 24-yard line.
That is one fired up sideline, and the student section is really going crazy over there now.
And if you are the Golden Bears, that could be somewhat of a dagger here late in the third quarter with 13.6 seconds left in the third quarter. It should be the final play here before we enter the fourth quarter. And Davis will hand off to Cox, just going to lower that shoulder, get across the 25 down to around the 27, maybe the 28-yard line. And that will do it here for the third quarter as Holy Innocents in complete control. 12 minutes left of action before they can close out the Wesleyan Wolves on the road as they lead 24-0, and they have the football.
Every one of those players are holding that number 4 or fourth quarter high in the air and holding it up to the student section.
And just to kind of recap some of the previous games here that we have had for the Golden Bears right here on the Golden Bear Network. Again, we talked about they started off the season with a big victory, 28-0 over Mount Pisgah. Really, the second game of the season has caused a little bit of concern for the Golden Bears. They were up 21-0, and they eventually held on and beat Hebron Christian 28-21, which seemed to be really the closest game of the season so far up to that point, of course. They went down to Rutland. Bye week went down to Rutland. And, of course, took care of business down at Rutland 31-0. Last week was the big one, Eagles Landing, and that was an offensive slugfest there over in Atlanta, and that was 42-41 with one of the biggest victories here of the season. And now on the verge of another big one and a top 5 victory are the Golden Bears as they lead 24-0 as we enter the fourth quarter.
And fans back in Bear Nation, the student section has got their camera phones out with their lights on, so it's really a sight over there. We've got some fired up students. They know they smell it right now. So now it's just time to shut the door on Wesleyan, and let's get ready for next week's big game.
You have 1 quarter left to play. Matt Davis under center, just going to hand it to your bell cow as across the 30, and my goodness, he gets a couple of extra yards close to the first down as Michael Cox was stopped about a yard past the line of scrimmage. And stop me if you've heard this before, but gets a couple of extra yards on the run.
And I tell you, who is leading that blocking is James Gleason. He had his guy 8 yards downfield blocking him, and the guy could do nothing. So James has went from center to tight end, and they have been running behind him all night, and he has been blocking fantastic.
And a little love to the offensive line here on the third down play as Charlie Hawk, Blake Dobbs, Hull O'Neill, Connor Schwinnemson, Mac Mitchell, some of those guys, we don't really get to mention those guys a lot of the times in the trenches, but they have done a fantastic job tonight at opening up some holes for Michael Cox. So 3rd down and 2, and he's going to make a couple of guys miss, and oh my goodness, Michael Cox was a leg tackle away from breaking about a 70-yard run for a touchdown there.
And Georgia High School Football Daily did a story on Michael Cox being the number 1 player in the state at his position, and he was a step away from breaking that. And I don't know if you saw last week's game, fans, but he ran away from the Eagles Landing Christian Academy running back. Actually, he was playing DB. Guy runs a 4.4 40, and Michael ran away from him. So Michael not only can get the yards in the middle, he can run away from him.
And here he gets the carry again, and he's going to get 8 yards there on first down. And the tackle by Gottlich once again for the Wesleyan Wolves. And you know, obviously Michael Cox getting some look from a lot of Ivy League schools. Columbia, I know, is on that list, and a couple of other schools that kind of run a similar offense and can do a lot of things, can utilize his ability, I think. So we'll see his decision, of course, not yet made, but getting some looks for sure for Michael Cox.
Also a wrestler, placed 3rd in the National Prep Slam tournament at Holy Innocents, and they're just feeding him off tackle every time. And there's another probably first down. Yep, they're giving him the first down. So, again, we're just grinding the clock, giving it to Michael. You got to look for Matt Davis on his little keeper here.
And I would expect to see it. I would expect to see it soon, for sure. And it's one of the things where, you know, look, Michael Cox is. We know what Michael Cox is, and he is. He is what it is. It's a 3, 4, 5, 6 guaranteed yards every time he touches the football. It feels like. And they're going to give it to him again off left tackle, and once again lowers that shoulder. He's going to get about 3-4 yards there on first down. And it looks like a player once again is down for the Wesleyan Wolves. Can't quite see the number. So he's going to stay. He's going to stay down, and obviously we hope that he's okay. Came up limping a little bit as well, but that'll give the Wesleyan Wolves defense just a little bit of a break here from Michael Cox, because I think they need it a little bit on defense. He's just a powerful, downhill runner, and that's such a it's a term that's not used a lot, is downhill runner. A lot of the guys nowadays like to do the jukes and the side to side and the fancy moves, and that's not how he does things. He lowers that shoulder, and he's like, I'm bigger and I'm stronger than you, and I'm going to go through you, not around you.
And I tell you what, Saturday morning, he's one bruised up guy, but it's well worth it. Every one of them means something. And, they're up 24-0, and he doesn't want to come out of the game. They want to stay in there, and they want to shut the door on these guys. So you've got 9:28 left in the game, 2nd and 5 for the Bears at the Wolves 40. And we've got a pep in our step, and Wesleyan does not. So that kind of tells the tale right there.
And this is one of those games where Wesleyan just looks absolutely worn down on defense. They just absolutely look worn down. 9 minutes approaching here as they finally get some pressure in the backfield to Michael Cox, and he gets back to the line of scrimmage, still doesn't take a loss, and it'll be 3rd down and 5 yards. So 3rd down, as we're under 9 minutes to go here in the 4th quarter. It'll be 3rd down and around 5 yards for the Golden Bears. And you have to think this is one where Matt Davis might keep it here on 3rd down, or do you just keep giving it to Michael Cox? He's pretty much carried it the entire second half, so you have to think
he's probably right at 140 carries now.
They give it to him again, and he gets dropped at around the 38-yard line or so.
Continues to set records for Holy Innocents. Rushing, carries.
We have a 4th down for Holy Innocents.
So 4th down here for the Golden Bears. It'll be 4th down and 3. Right where Coach Winters likes it. 4th down and 3 for the offense of the Golden Bears.
I see a Matt Davis party coming on right here.
And I would expect Matt Davis to keep this football as well. Here on 4th down, under 8 minutes to go. Hunter Hawk's going to stay in motion, and they're going to pitch it out to Taekwon. Taekwon's going to take it, go outside, and that Taekwon has some room inside the 10-yard line. He's going to stroll out of bounds at around the 8, maybe the 7, or even down to the 6-yard line is William Brule on the
Brookie.
Okay, we'll go with that. William Brookie there on the push out of Taekwon Alexander, and it'll be 1st down and goal now for the Golden Bears.
Great job, Taekwon. And I tell you what, Matt Davis, every time he makes a pitch, it falls right at the chest. So there's no margin for error with Matt. He does it right every time.
So the clock is stopped at 7:46, but the Golden Bears threatening inside of the 10-yard line. 1st and goal, and they're going to give it to Cox.
And he is going to get him. He's going to get in the end zone.
And that
touchdown, Michael Cox.
That is a tired defense when one man moves about 6. I know it's not too out of the ordinary for Michael Cox, but he just moved an entire defense pretty much by himself into the end zone.
I want to say at least 5 to 6 players had his jersey, and he drug every one of them into the end zone. And right now, there's a happy Bears sideline over there.
So another touchdown down as the Golden Bears are looking to go up 31-0.
Juan Keon for the extra point.
And it looks like he will stay perfect on extra points on the season.
And
go ahead.
The greatest thing you can see from our sidelines and our stands are the Wesleyan people not cheering right now because they're down 31-0, and this seems to be the Bears' offensive average, and they're holding teams down. So right now it looks like it's going to be a good victory tonight, and it'll be a good night in Bear Nation.
And for the game of the week, you wouldn't necessarily expect a 31-0 victory, but it has been dominated by Holy. I mean, really, all three facets of the game have been dominated by Holy Innocents tonight.
The one explosive play that Wesleyan did had, it got brought back, and that kind of changed the flow of the game. You know, if they get that ball first and goal at the 2, but right before the half, they could punch it in, and it's 16-8, 17-8, 17-7, and we got a new ball game.
That's exactly right, and a big penalty. That holding penalty is the biggest penalty of the game by a long shot. That could have got their offense flowing and going a little bit, but instead, Holy Innocents has taken over, and they have turned every mistake that has been made by Wesleyan into something for their offense, either a field goal, touchdown. They've moved the ball, taken time off the clock. They've been productive with the turnovers, and they've won the turnover battle here tonight.
Wonky on to kick. And looks like they'll get a return out of it, and that's Micah Smith.
He'll take it at around the 2-yard line, out past the 10, and he's going to get hit by a couple of different guys, and Hunter Hawk picks him up and throws him to the ground. And they're going to call a penalty on Hunter Hawk, who picks him up, and Ronnie Williams in there as well. But Hunter Hawk picked him up and kind of body slammed him WWE style down to the ground there, and that is a penalty.
And that's been one of the new rules too that's been installed for safety reasons. They're trying to get away from those slams, and but I tell you what, Ronnie and Hunter went down there full speed and got him at the 15-yard line, and it's going to be a 10-yard mark-off. Check that, it's going to be a personal foul, so that's going to put him out to the 31-yard line.
I don't know if I agree with the body slamming kind of penalty and as far as that goes, but it is what it is, and it is a penalty. So unnecessary roughness is called on Hunter Hawk, and the Wolves will start at their own 31-yard line.
Well, most concussions happen when the head hits the ground in the whiplash form. So what happened is he was thrown down kind of head first, and they're trying to take that aspect of safety to the level where they're trying to negate that. So that was Cooper Blauser actually now in at quarterback.
And he ran a good play there on first down, making a couple of guys miss, and he'll pick up a first down for the Wolves here late in this fourth quarter.
And Nathan, you and I get the honor of choosing the player of the game, and I think we already know who that's going to be, don't we?
I think we can go ahead and say Michael Cox is going to be the player of the game, and there's Blauser. He gets dragged out of bounds by Felton. So Blauser making some things happen for the Wolves on offense. And if there was a play of the game, I would say it's that diving interception. Originally hit by Cardian, and then Aiken comes up with the football. I think that absolutely has to be the play of the game, a diving play on defense to cause the second turnover of the night on the Wolves.
That possibly could make an ESPN top 10 playlist too.
We should send that in. I think they might like that one. But under 7 minutes to go here is Cooper Blauser, 2 runs and a couple of big gains.
You look for
the Wolves.
You look for your defense to turn the game around, and they did with that Landon Cardian first one. Bears go in and score early, and then of course that tip pass really turned the tails.
And now they'll give it to Caldwell, Griffin Caldwell, and Hunter Hawk in the backfield as well. And it looks like number 2, Ronnie Williams, in there as well. And number 2 for the Wolves, Andrew Van Wee, is back in, kind of playing a little quarterback as well for Blauser and J.C. French. So Wesley's going to call another timeout, their second timeout here in the second half. And we have 6:40 left here in the fourth quarter. And the second half, we have had 4 total possessions in the second half. And I'm not laughing to make fun of. I'm laughing out of astonishment, because we have had, the Golden Bears have had 25 plays in the second half that have taken essentially the entire second half. The Wolves have had 11 plays to the Golden Bears 25. 2 touchdowns to the Golden Bears, no touchdowns for the Wolves. So you want to talk about time of possession. And the discrepancy in that way, I mean, 25 plays to 10 plays, it doesn't get bigger discrepancy than that.
Coach Winter had a game plan, put it in effect, and he's never strayed from it, and it's worked to perfection. He did that last week with Eagles Landing Christian Academy too.
And it looks like we're going to have, I think Blauser's going to go back in and play quarterback now. And I would expect just a continuous run here from Cooper Blauser. He's had some success here on this drive. It'll be the third play of the drive. As Blauser signals we in motion, he's just going to keep it, run it right up the middle, and he's going to get hit from that linebacker spot, and that was Willis in on the tackle.
William Willis got an injury in the preseason game, ankle injury. It looked like he had a softball on the side of his ankle, and he has come back strong, and him and Hunter Hawk really anchor that middle on the linebacking court.
And what a duo they are, and you talk about getting some pressure. Moreland Bell getting some pressure on the outside, McInnes as well, and then you have those linebackers to kind of fill those gaps. That's a solid front 4, 5, and 6 for the Golden Bears. Blauser takes it out and just kind of throws it into the ground, and that's why I would kind of expect he was aiming for Wyatt Hodges, and again Blauser rolling out, and that was Leighton Dixon in coverage out there for the Golden Bears, and it looked like Blauser wanted to run that football, but he decided to throw it at the last second. He has those gloves on. I think he wants to just run the football here and try to keep the chains moving.
Well, Wesleyan's been running the wheel route all night tonight. Micah Smith was deep in the end zone and had Landon Cardian all over him. Nowhere to go with the ball. He just dumped it. And right now you've got an excited Bear Nation on the sideline over there. And here come the camera phones out again with the lights on. So it's really a sight over there.
And a final timeout is going to be called here by Wesleyan. And so when they get back on defense, they can't even stop the clock. So the Golden Bears just going to run it a couple of times, and that should be the end of the football game once they get the ball back. So I mean, the defense tonight, I know we've talked a lot about the offense and these long drives, but the defense for the Golden Bears tonight has taken it up a notch, even from last week where they had a couple of gigantic stops on 4th down. This week, they've dominated the football game.
Coach Nick came in here and installed this new defense, and the kids have bought into it. They've gotten so much bigger and stronger, and you've got speed in the secondary. You've got Big Hunter Hawk and William Willis in the middle. Then you've got that front line with Hall O'Neill, Sam Aiken, Spencer Getz, and Griffin McInnes, and Ronnie Williams and Landon Cardian. I tell you what, it's a strong defense.
They've had some extreme success tonight as Blauser's just going to keep it, and there's William Willis again on the tackle from that linebacker spot, and Sam Aiken in there as well. And again, containment. You're going to give him the 2 and 3 yards, but you don't want to let him break the big one, and that's what those linebackers are for. And Hunter Hawk and William Willis are great at what they do. And that'll stop them on 4th down, and Holy Innocents will take over the football here with a little under 6 minutes to go.
Yep.
So back-to-back turnover on downs here for the Wesleyan Wolves, as Holy Innocents will take over here with 5:51 to go in the 4th quarter. And what was really expected to be such a competitive game and game of the week has turned into the exact opposite, a big what will be victory here for the Golden Bears as they lead 31-0. And there's Taekwon, gets the pitch, a little behind him. He's just going to take it, run over one guy, lower the shoulder, and Taekwon Alexander is going to get 9. And a big block downfield as well, helping him, and Cardo Gottlich. And I believe it was Hall O'Neill coming up with a big block coming downfield as well from that offensive line spot. So 2nd down and 1.
Got 5:25 left in the game, and as far as we're concerned, tick-tock, tick-tock. That's all we want. Let's get out of here. Let's get ready for our big home game, first varsity home game next week at Holy Innocents, 4:30. Don't miss it. Be there.
It's going to be a good one. That one will also, obviously will be broadcast right here on the Golden Bear Network as well. So if you can't make it, you can watch the Golden Bear Network here. Obviously, you'd love to make it, but going out wide.
Look at that hit Hunter Hawk just gave on somebody. Ran the ball and hit the defenders down. Hunter Hawk was at full speed and just ran right over the guy. So let's keep an eye on him, make sure he's okay.
But a big hit. The game is not over, but that is a big hit on the far sideline here. And we'll obviously make sure that he is okay, as we're under 5 minutes now on the fourth quarter clock. And what a shot. Hunter Hawk has had really a few of them here tonight with some big hits as the stands kind of go quiet here.
Right,
so we obviously want to make sure that he is okay, as the team is taking a knee, and yeah, he took a big one, as Hunter Hawk tends to deliver those. So
Yes.
Football's a rough sport sometimes, and obviously we hope that he is okay on that far sideline.
The trainers are over there, team doctor.
Well, we can kind of let's go through the rest of the schedule here for the Golden Bears. Obviously next week, we've talked about it a couple of times. They play Mount Vernon, who they're looking to rebound from the loss last year, 32-29. They're looking to rebound, and that'll be a big game. Fans are going to be packed, and that will be a big game over at the actual home stadium. Then they travel to Strong Rock Christian on the 11th. High-scoring battle last year, 59-48. On the 25th, they have another bye week, and on Friday, October 25th, they're going to play Trinity Christian at home, who they lost to last year, 17-14. And then November 1st, it'll be Landmark Christian on the road, and then they'll finish the regular season with Our Lady of Mercy, the Bobcats, at home on November 8th. So the remaining schedule there for the Golden Bears right here on the Golden Bear Network.
Now, Mount Vernon lost a lot of players, but they still got they had a very good young team last year. They've got a lot of guys back. They got a good quarterback. They've got a good receiver. That's going to be a good game. So the Bears are now doing what they needed to do last year. They're winning these close games.
And player has been helped off, and it was Griffin Caldwell, the running back and defensive back for the Wolves. So
that was Landon Donovan on a carry.
And glad to see Griffin Caldwell okay, as he got helped off the field. And Donovan in for the carry for the Golden Bears, as Matt Davis will officially exit the game, I believe. Matt Davis will officially exit the game.
And Marshall Nichols in at quarterback.
Backup quarterback Marshall Nichols in.
You've got a 2nd and 5. You got 3:50 left in the game.
And Coach Winters looking to.
He's going to let some time run off the clock and probably call a timeout.
And we're approaching the 3.5-minute mark here in the fourth quarter. And it is. He's going to maybe say 3.5 minutes, and he's going to call a timeout. So they'll stop it officially at 3:32.
Timeout called by Holy
Here,
Innocents.
the Holy Innocents will take their first timeout of the fourth quarter and of the second half. And going to give Marshall Nichols some.
This will be the second time in history that Holy Innocents has shut out, if this holds, has shut out Wesleyan. And when you hold a team like this to no points, that's a good thing. And are we going ahead and announcing the player of the game now?
I think we can go ahead and officially announce the player of the game.
Do the honors for us.
Drum roll, please. I know everybody's going to be shocked at this. I think we're going to say number 35, Michael Cox, is going to be your player of the game, and it's really not even close. I mean, he dominates the game, and he had a fantastic week last week. Player of the week on Georgia High School Football Daily. Gave him a plaque and a trophy over at the school this week as well. But he just continued that effort tonight, and Holy Innocents is going to go as far as Michael Cox takes them this year. Taekwon Alexander in motion.
Handoff was to Donovan Johnson, rather.
Donovan Johnson will get close to that first down marker. It's going to be 3rd down and a yard.
Brought down by Vance Nicholas, Carter Gottlich.
And Gottlich in on the tackle once again for the Wolves.
3rd down.
And again, week after week, the Bears are putting up big numbers and putting up historic victories. And this one looks like it's pretty much in the books, up 31-0 with 2:50 left in the game.
And Dixon comes in motion. He's going to get the pitch. He's going to go up the left sideline, makes a couple of guys miss, and he's going to get brought out of bounds inside the 30. So a great catch and run there by Leighton Dixon. And Cooper Blauser is going to come in, still playing hard on the stop. Another Holy Innocents first down. So first down, Golden Bears, and a couple more plays, and this one will be in the books for Holy Innocents. They are going to move to 5-0 on the season, and looking to increase those power rankings odds, and the last 2 weeks are surely going to help that. Hunter Hawk comes in motion, fake the pitch to him, and hand it off to.
He still got positive yards out of it.
Donovan
Johnson, gain of 1, better than the loss of 1.
So Holy Innocents again, a couple of more plays, and this one will be in the books as we approach the 2-minute mark. You have to think maybe one more first down. You think will officially clinch the game.
Yep.
As we're officially under 2 minutes here in the fourth quarter, and Nichols under center. He'll hand it off to Johnson again. And he's going to go forward. He gets 1, maybe 2 yards. It'll be third down and around 7 yards.
Bringing down Donovan Johnson.
And it is Preston Jones will be the man for the tackle for the Wolves.
Looks like you might have 2 plays left. It's third and about 6. Marshall Nichols brings the guys up.
I think they might even go for it here on fourth down if they don't get it. And they swing it out wide. And
Chandler Ketchup's in the game.
Ketchup will run out of bounds, and unfortunately that stops the clock, but he does get some positive yards on a good run and will step out of bounds about a yard short, so it'll be fourth down and about a yard.
That's good to see those guys getting in and getting some work. You know, Michael Cox is looking forward to the ice bath tomorrow. Come in for treatment in the morning and get taken care of.
Take some time and go home and rest, young man, because
yes.
you absolutely deserve the rest. And under 50 seconds to go here on 4th and 1. Man in motion. They're going to pitch it out wide to catch up again.
And that's going to be a first down.
It's going to be a first down.
And right now, the game is probably going to end because we have a running clock.
30 seconds. That could be the last play of the game. And the Golden Bears will secure a 31-0 victory on the road against Wesleyan, and I don't think anybody could have saw this coming. A win, maybe, yes.
Yes.
A blowout 31-0, I don't think so. A well-coached game, a well-played game, and the Golden Bears with a gigantic victory, 31-0 on the road.
And would you look at that student section fixing to come out and give those players a high five? The whole student body is out, dressed in orange.
And what a scene it is on the field here. The students coming down. Michael Cox and Tanner Bivens on the field giving some love to each other with some good handshakes. You know, they're both going to the next level. So a great game overall. Defense, I think, even outshined the offense a lot of the night here for the Golden Bears. And final thoughts before we exit here tonight, Coach.
Now, like I said, you got a target on your back every week. And now next week, again, I'm going to go to it one more time. We've got the first ever home varsity game at Holy Innocents, 4:30 Friday against Mount Vernon Presbyterian. And it's going to be a great game. Let's get everybody there. Call all the relatives, neighbors, business owners. Let's get them all there. And let's put some support for these Bears, because right now they're on a roll. And I don't see anything stopping them the way they're playing. But it's great to be back in the booth with you, Nathan.
Absolutely.
And again, there's 2 games that left. They're going to be tough ones, and this is Mount Vernon and the Trinity Christian game. But the way it looks right now, the way the Bears are playing, their offensive game plan is so well put together, and their defense is just playing lights out. Their kicking game, all 3 phases, the kicking game, the defense, and the offense, are really doing well. And here come the Bear Nation students out with their they want to support those Bears. So everybody's gathering around at midfield, the players, both teams for the prayer. Both coaches are talking, and this is just a great moment in the Bear Nation.
And make sure you join us if you can't come out to the game next week at 4:30. Make sure you join us. We'll be right here on the Golden Bear Network. Kickoff is at 4:30. Special time kickoff next Friday at 4:30 as the Golden Bears of Holy Innocents will host the Mount Vernon Presbyterian Mustangs in the homecoming game and look to go 6-0 on the season. Coach Gaines, fun time doing the broadcast again. We're going to wrap it up here and head to the house and enjoy your weekend. We'll see you next week on the Golden Bear Network.
Great to be with you, Nathan, and Bear Nation, we'll see you next week.